Good morning, guys. Inside High School Hoops with Umana and Burton. Brian got some business to handle, so it's going to be ISO on, as you can see on the screen. We got some big-time guests coming on today. It'll be a little secret. We'll announce it later on in the show, but really excited about this episode. A lot of content. It's going to be pretty powerful. I think it's going to be right where it was on last week's show. We got Coach PBM Martinez, which is hard to beat, but I'm really excited about having these guys on the show. So we'll talk about just kind of recap everything since the last episode. Great news. iSchool's Cruz Davis, he's a junior in 2022. He committed to Oregon State. Coach Tingle, he got, I believe that's his first commit in 2022 with Cruz. A lefty guard with length, solid positional size that can really hit shots. When he really gets going, more of a volume scorer. But I think at Oregon State he has a chance to thrive when he gets his body right and just kind of gets his confidence going. So definitely shout out to Cruz Davis. Committed early, and it's going to be a trend. You're going to see 22s junior this season. I mean, I'm seeing the next couple months going to commit early, especially with COVID. Now keeping a year back and keeping a year in college, and we don't know when college coaches are really going to come in. I know it's pegged to be April, but it's probably not looking like that. So, expect to see more 22s in the area start verbally committing. Definitely want to talk about that. Some game recaps. I went to a couple games. Got to see Creek and Legacy. I got lost on that one. That was the first official game with the Southwest. Southwest and Interclassic. I blew it. Sorry, Sloan. But that's the first game of the league, and that was really good one. Legacy came out with a win 58-55. Spring Creek has some really, really good talent. I know I said it in the previous episode. You got Geronimo. I don't want to box it last night. Recently received an offer from UNT about a month ago. His hard came here from Ohio. Skilled, he knows how to play. Good fields a passer. I think that's finisher running. And he's someone he's a 2021 goal. I think his recruit was really going to pick up. And talking to his high school coach, here, he was talking about how Geronimo, he's in more calls, and his place was really picked up. He was a kid that kind of started off a little slow during the season. Didn't really know what he does really well. Now he's more comfortable with the speed and the physicality, and shows utility and just his IQ, especially with the ball in his hands. For Legacy, big win, and a big performance by you got Pete Hill, you had Aaron Scott, who's 2021, then committed career. Aaron Scott's still available 2021. He has 17 points, 9 rebounds, a couple assists. Aaron's talented. He has good position size. He's long, versatile, especially defensively. He can switch, which I really like about him, which I think can translate to the next level, especially when he's intent on defending, which it's hard. It's not uncommon, especially with a coach who's on a team who just teaches toughness and defense. So Aaron just showcased a lot of his versatility on both ends. So really, really good matchup to watch. You had probably over about 12 to 13 Division I prospects in him. So that may have been the game of the night, or the game of the week, in my opinion. Just watching totally. First Spring Creek, we'll go back to Spring Creek. This is a 2024 kid. In my opinion, he's best 2024 in that class. I know it was early 2024, the freshman, right? But definitely just has the physical profile and intangibles. 6'8", plus 3 wingspan. When I say plus, I mean his wing. He's about 6'8". He has at least he's about 6'11" wingspan. Maybe a little longer. Can put the ball on the floor. Can really pass it. Jumpers coming along, but just his size and skill at his age, I'm just really impressed with him here. And even performing in big games. And this box score stats may not blow you out the water, right? But he does things on the court that just like, man, that translates. Man, this kid's gonna be really good. Sometimes you got to look beyond the box score stats when you back player. So I mean, probably really high level player. Has a chance of being special. And to me, right now, if I had to do a 2024 ranking, he's number one in my class. So that was a big game there. J.J. Pierce play. I got to see him against Lake Highlands. So that was a really good game. Speaking, we would stay on the topic before, and J.J. Pierce, you had Liam McGinley, who to me is the top three, 24 in that class in the state. And then for Lake Highlands, you have Trey Johnson, who to me, in my opinion, is a top. He's an argument for top 3 player in the state of Texas in that class. Who plays Lake Highlands? Lake Highlands went at it. Lake Highlands won at the end. And it was probably about 4 or 5 points. I know the first matchup, J. Pierce won in overtime. So this was a big one, especially in district. Just about for position. Richardson's ahead in that district number 1, but about for that 2 spot. Especially talking about the playoffs is huge. Trey, really, first time I got to see him during the scholastic season. I saw him in the preseason, but really scores the basketball with the size, his length, 3-level scoring. He's just confident, right on that, launches a 3 and connects. He just has no fear, especially when he misses a shot. He doesn't lack confidence. There's no moment to be for him, and especially a kid at that age, at this, classification. I mean, it's just hard to find. Really enjoy watching him play. I think there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of room for growth, not just because he is a freshman, because when you get it now, you'll see guys that are freshmen or 8th graders. And even though one kid's 14, kid's 14, one kid's older than the other. You look at body and just size and everything like that. He's just a kid that you can just tell is just going to keep growing. He's going to, once he gets stronger and older, I mean, he's going to be a really good basketball player. So I was impressed by him there. We continue on versatility, right? About 6'6", 6'7". Probably had about 14 points. Had to have about 7, 8 rebounds. I stopped about 7 and had about 4 assists. I think he's 3rd in the city in assists. I mean, averaging about 5 a game. Liam just does it all. I mean, and I interviewed him. I talked to him. There's an article coming out this week on Liam. He enjoys doing the little things and making winning basketball plays. When you talk to high school kids, and I'm not going to just pick all of them in a bowl, but when I've talked a lot, and it's scoring. But Liam is like, what do I do to win? If I'm not scoring the basketball, I'm rebounding. If I'm not he's going to rebound, but if I'm not really getting a lot of rebounds, I'm going to defend. But defend my ass off. I'm be energetic to my teammates. Those things go a long way. Especially just with his overall play. He's just a kid that knows how to be productive. He had in the 4th quarter, he had 10 points. His team was down and he brought it back up. It was a tie game. So, seeing freshmen play big roles on their varsity team in big crucial district games, you just love to see it. Goes from 2021s in that game. You had Noah McDavid out of Lake Highlands. He's a 2021 that I feel that under recruited. It says, but in traditional years, probably would have a divisional scholarship or 2, or his phone be really ringing like that. But obviously, in different times. But I still think he's a scholarship basketball player, and I think he's one college coaches need to really take a look at. Really smooth mid-range game, plays hard. He's going to rebound. He's going to defend, and he has good positional size. He's somebody who can play about 2 or 3 spots in the next level, and he can still hold his own on both ends. We'll stay with Lake Collins. It's a 2023. Samson Alatin, about 6'9", real long arms. Raw offensively, but plays hard, runs the floor well, looks to alter and block shots. And Samson just a kid down the stretch. I mean, he had big catch law. He caught a lot. He in the second half, he came in the post. And he got a big finish with a right hand hook. So there's some tools there. I think the kid. When you look at this, may be a name that people aren't familiar with, Jonathan, who out of Houston, who's out of Dominion. That reminds me of same time, a little further along. Johnson, who kind of blew up the same year. I think Samson, same situation. You're going to be about a year or two from now. His phone's going to be ringing. And I talked to the kid, really good kid. He just works at it. He's so green, so you can just teach him, right? And he's going to get better through time. And big men do. What you're seeing now is not what you're going to see when he's 18 years old for sure. Going into J. Pierce, my last thing with them, with that game, I really enjoyed Walker Timmy. This is my second game watching them, and what I enjoyed just a kid that maybe is athletically limited, but he really knows how to use his body. He knows how to use his IQ to generate points for something others. I know in the first quarter of that game, he got 8 points. And Sam's a big boy. Long, he kind of know how to use his shoulder, kind of bump into him, create space. Guys that are that savvy, especially around the basket, to do well. He's another kid. He's another 2021 that can play at a level where where he can potentially get scholarship. I mean, I like Walker. I like Walker a lot. So what's my next game that I want to watch? Went to Garland. I went to actually Saxe. It was my first time. It was the second time for being at Saxe, Texas, and got to watch them play Garland. And when I watched the Zubies, Jeff Fords. There's the siblings they play at Garland. You got Zuby, who's a 2022, his older brother Hugo, and they got the youngest one, Chooks, who's 2023. And Zuby was just coming back from injury. He got sprained his ankle. I know they had a loss that Friday, and so coming into that Tuesday, it was a situation where he really wanted to, he really wanted to play. I think he probably had 60 or 70%, but he contributed. I mean, first couple possessions, had about 2 blocks, had about 3 rebounds, had 2 points. He was just active. Again, I'm a fan of guys that impact the game just off, not just scoring. And Zuby was doing that on a hurt ankle, and his skill sets come along very solid. He still needs more skill, obviously, but he's young. I mean, Zuby's still 16 years old. Played basketball for 3 years. So again, when we talk about just being green, there's so much. When he continues to just have birthdays and continues to play basketball, I think he's going to get a really strong product. There's a reason that he's a top 75 to 100 player in the country. And Zuby showed that. I mean, you can see it. All right. And, I really want to talk about siblings. I think they're very intriguing. Who is a senior? Again, the kid that played basketball sophomore year in high school, but he plays hard. He's going to rebound his butt off, especially on the offensive glass. Offensive skill set still fairly raw, but he's going to. I mean, just his instincts as a rebounder is going to put in the game right away, and that allowed him to get a second and third chance opportunities for his team, which allowed him to score. He accumulated up in the game. I think he had 10 rebounds in the first half, which was just really impressive for me to see, especially if Zuby got foul trouble. I know he's got some NAIs. He's kind of reaching out. That's kind of his recruitment. But I did like, kids just really just picked up a basketball recently, to impact the game. And Garland needed that win. So that was big there. And then I'll talk the last one is Chooks. Chooks, so 2023, look kind of different placed out than the other two. The Zuby, even though he can kind of stretch it out a little bit and hit an open three, it was primarily more just interior. Chooks can kind of face up, attack. He's a little quicker off the dribble than both his brothers. A little bigger, a little burlier frame. Just was active. I mean, offensively was holding his own defensively. He looks to take charges. He looks to intercept passing lanes. He's really, I can say active, but he was just really active. I mean, what I like when I watch young guys, most guys when they get to the varsity level, they just play hard because they're like, I don't know how many minutes I'm gonna get. I know coach is gonna be on but whatever little mistake I make, I'm just gonna go hard as I can, and I'm gonna earn my minutes. And I thought Chooks was just really effective. He went top faced up and just kind of lowered his shoulder some, got to the chest defender and just finished with left hand. He's a kid that's young too, and in that 23 class, I definitely think he earns a spot in the rankings. So that's some of just the games I got to watch. Got to see high school. I coached against high school. Keontae George played really, really well. Cruz Davis, Cruz and Trey Clayton really come along. I've been making real strides as a team, and the players have really come along the body. And so, really, as an about, I was coaching the game, but just kind of going back watching film, you kind of got to see some things. I think we really are seeing in front of our eyes. We're seeing the growth of Keontae George as a player and just as an individual. I know it's like number one is it him or is it Kaysen, Wallace, or this guy or that guy. And I just think we just really need to enjoy just watching guys play. I got to see Kaysen a couple weeks ago and just how he was just dissecting defense was fantastic. I got to see Keontae George recently and just look just how fluid of a scorer he is and how he's just intent on the defense and just growth, just real growth. I think we really need to just enjoy watching guys play and just watching all these high level guys play. And just we're in Texas basketball play, which you can't say about every country right now. And we're in this state, 60 to 80 Division I prospects. And when I say 80, I'm talking about junior college. So most definitely, George is really just coming to his own. So, now I guess I'll be like, guess I'm not here yet, but just kind of want to give y'all a snippet before I continue to go. So we got Coach Brandon Thomas. He's going to come in at 10:30 from Faith Family. Head coach of Faith Family. BT's really, he's called BT. He's really built that program. I remember when Faith Family first got started, and I remember I went to a game. I think they were playing Pimpkins. And it was just kind of building blocks of everything, and just really happy to see, throughout the years him accumulating really the talented Division I prospect. So then he only won state championship 2 years ago. He was in the Final Four this past year. Last year. Since the Final Four because of COVID, but he comes to the team this year. They're projected to win 148 state title this year. So you got him, and then we also got PJ Kuzar. I was talking about this earlier today. He's gonna come in the second. I'm gonna really enjoy PJ. Coach got to watch him play, watch his boys play for a long time. He runs Kuz's league, and then the legacy, same thing. Legacy. No, me and Pete, I'm gonna talk to you about it today. They're bad. At first, they're bad. Really struggled, but all his teams play hard. PJ, they play hard. They get after it. And some BT with average discipline. And it's just good to see both programs really thrive and succeed. And I know that there's a lot of doubt, especially when you're just not good at first. But they just push it, and they just really good job just coaching the guys, teaching the guys the right way to play. And then when you do things the right way, the play comes and winning comes. And then after that happens, that you just keep rolling. So we're gonna have those. We're gonna have those two guys. We're gonna have those two. Today. So I kind of want to do a recap. This everything kind of going on. I'm gonna talk a little Houston. Really impressed with DJ Richards. Been hearing a lot about how he's performing. He's at Soccer 2021. I believe he scored 41 points. And they in a win yesterday. DJ saw him in the preseason game. It was against Legacy. I guess I don't know how many times I mentioned Legacy prior to when PJ comes in, but really can score the basketball. Has good size, kind of lean, very lean actually, but can really shoot the basketball. Score. He's confident. He's tough. Kind of walk in and you just kind of he's real cool really to himself. But just when the game comes on, when the light shine on him, he's just really going at it. He's a kid. I know he was receiving a lot of college attention early on. For some reason, kind of dropped. But when coaches call me about available 21s, he's on my list. I know how low of a scorer he is. I know how tough he is. I know how much he likes to compete. And I'm really happy to see DJ just performing and just performing at a high level and get what he wants at the end. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back again, and I'll talk a little bit more, but then we'll get our guests on. So see you in a little bit.
I want to take time to acknowledge one of our partners, Rising Coaches. Every coach wants to rise in their career in one way or another. We're all looking for professional development, access to tools, and relationships that can help us grow and help us advance in our career. Rising Coaches provides just that. You can visit Rising Coaches at www.risingcoaches.com. Their memberships are just $10 a month and provides a genuine community to help you grow and advance in your career.
Thank you for joining us for the All Access Coaches Corner podcast. We are so excited to continue serving coaches, sharing their stories, and spotlighting their programs. Stay connected as we bring you more special guests and more real conversations covering all aspects of the game. You can find our show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you like to get your podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at allaccess_CC. Subscribe to the All Access Network YouTube channel and join us in the All Access Coaches Corner.
All right, guys, we're back. Quick commercial break. I also want to talk about a couple teams that have been traveling and doing well. Primarily Premier Academy out of Houston. First year with the school, they've been doing a really good job. I know they lost by 8 to Hillcrest. I believe they just lost Seattle Rotary by 3. 69-66 games. Seattle Rotary. But they played. Hillcrest has Michael Foster, who's a top 10 player in the country, and then Seattle Rotary has Paulo Ventura, who's arguably number 1 in the country, and they went right at them, and they're going to win right at both teams, and they're really holding their own. Will Young for Premier Academy. And I like to talk about 21s. I think they do especially need it around this time. 2021 guard, always been talented. Always had the physical profile, and consistency was always key. After the game again weeks ago, Marcus Sloan's MLK event, and he was really good there. Was the most consistent performer on the floor that day. And hearing a lot of good things about him playing out in Arizona. And he's, uses his body. He's a left. He attacks. He gets into the teeth of the defense. His decision making is getting better. So he's not just kind of forcing things up. He's not going to make reads and finding shooters and finding big men. Who Premier Academy have plenty of. And he's really just kind of been in the helm and just, handling business. He's grown not just a kid, that's just naturally going to happen. While these kids go through high school, but just as a point guard, saw some situations. Kimball make a run or Kimball lead. And he was getting to about potentially a double-digit lead. He was very poised. Previously, you could see Will a little bit shook. He would take it and things like that. But you kind of just hey, we good, we got this. We're it's not like leading his troops. I just like how Will just competes. He's always been a competitor, but now he just holds more poise. And just really, interesting to hear that he's really playing well. Premier Academy, he has Ethan Yancey. Another 2021 Wayne was getting a lot of calls about him 2 months ago. Athletic, solid Wayne, when he can get downhill, finish above the rim, active, just really like how Ethan just really gets into the defender, really tries to finish versus size. Jumpers come a long way. He really has a different dimension offensively. And on the defense end for Premier. But you can't talk about Premier Academy without mentioning it's David Guy. He's all juniors. David Guy and what's the guy's name? It'll come to me, but I think that one. I'm sorry, Sam. I apologize, Sam. But David Guy is really performing. About 6'8", strong body. Has a solid inside-out game. He just really, there's no matchup inside, especially from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, that he's just afraid. Just mature, skilled. However, you take away his inside, you try to push him out to about now. He knows how to operate, still score. You want to push him out top of the key. He still knows how to score. And then if he has a mismatch, especially size, he's going to score in the paint. He's not when you see forwards and bigs nowadays, is you'll see someone that tends to stretch out what we see on the perimeter. That's not David Guy. David Guy, he just power away. If I have the mismatch, if I can attack from here, if I can attack from 15 feet out, if I can attack from top of the key, I'm just going to do it. But most of the points is generated. And the big fella, he's just the other big fella. He's block shots. He's active. He's a legit 6'11" in my opinion, and he just really, really gets after it on defense, and he has a soft touch. So, really, really excited to see here that those guys really doing well. Premier County's only going to do another thing on the out there in Arizona. Although when I was we had a Davis Miles. Well, he was 2020 went to Olympics Academy. Recently received an offer from Western Kentucky. They kind of get some calls because at this time colleges need bigs, and hearing a lot of good things just about how Darius, his body's how he's kind of coming along. He's a big fella that's recruiting kind of opening up in the past couple of weeks, and it's kind of getting some calls there. So Darius Miles is really he's a kid, and you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of these 21s that traditionally would be in the go to a 4-year situation. I'm going to go to post-grad situation. And Darius Miles, he's one that's just really seems to prove it up. But I kind of want to just talk about something different. Before I guess I come in. One thing that I've seen, I guess we're going to do a commercial break. So let me do a commercial break, and then we'll kind of get back to you.
Welcome to All Access Coaches Corner, where our mission is to serve coaches, share their stories, and spotlight their programs with our host, Brian Burton. A longtime successful college basketball coach, former championship collegiate point guard, husband, and father, Brian is now the Vice President of Rising Coaches Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Alliance for men's basketball, an empowerment coach and founder of B3 Legacy Sports and the All Access Network. Sports broadcaster and host for All Access Coaches Corner and All Access Sports Media, Coach Burton is now using his successes, experiences, and connections to be a point guard in the sports industry at all levels, with a mission to help others to further their success. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and join us in the All Access Coaches Corner.
All right, everybody can hear me now. I know we had some technical difficulties. I had to log into my phone. I guess my laptop just doesn't want me to be great today. But prior to going to commercial, I did kind of just want to talk about a couple of things, just some stuff that I have observed. when you look at players, and then want to talk about just with parents and everything, I would just keep encouraging parents. Me just in the stands and just watching everything. I would just keep encouraging parents to let their child just play and just kind of enjoy the experience of watching your child play. A lot of negative energy, a lot of tension. I know that just generally comes with just sports, but I think when the kids are playing, I'm seeing a lot of kids, pay attention to their parents or their dad or their mom, like in the middle of a play or when they make a mistake. And I just want to encourage parents to kind of just let your son play, let your kids play, and let them make mistakes, and just let them just have fun playing basketball. I know I've talked to kids, and one kid, he straight up told me, and I won't say name, that, hey, basketball's not even fun no more, or I feel like there's a lot of pressure, or this, that, and the third. And I just want to, and I said, well, why isn't basketball fun? I just feel like every time I make a mistake, I'm letting someone down, or I'm letting my people down, or this, that, and the third. And I think, varsity level kids shouldn't feel that way. This is not the only kid. There's multiple kids that have told me that during this season, and especially in the times that we're in, I think we just got to really sit back and just watch our sons play basketball. Watch our sons and daughters play basketball, and I would just encourage that, especially at time. And then we're going to the spring and summer where college coaches, the college coaches, in my opinion, are going to come out at some point, and college coaches, they're listening. So when a parent acts up, or when the kids kind of look at the stands, and the coaches see all that, and they're like, man, what's going on there? Like, hey, Ani, what's going on there? Or whose parent is that? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hey, they need to calm down. They're not helping themselves. So I would really just keep encouraging parents, just be there for your kid. I'm not saying you're not, but just let them play. Let them make mistakes. Just keep loving them. I got to see my cousin, Aruna Zubero. He played his first game since 6 months. He's been injured. And it was very, I get to watch a lot of kids play during time. It was just the first time in a long time I got to see, and I just call him like my son. Like, I got to see my son play. And I just got quiet. I was cheering him on, just making sure he was feeling okay and everything like that. But I just really enjoyed the experience of just kind of just being a parent and just watching your son play. And even when he made mistakes, or he wasn't running back on defense, whatever, I was just trying to encourage them. I wasn't mad. I was just proud of him. And I used to kind of be like that. Like, used to really get on him when he did this. I used to get on him when he did that. And I really went and just sitting there yesterday, I was like, man, I just really just miss seeing this kid play basketball. And that's all I want to see him do. Because that's what he loves to do. So I really, really enjoyed just watching him play. And it was a little emotional, like, not like I was crying or anything, but just, man, just kind of seeing this kid. He was hurt. We didn't know when he was going to play basketball again. And so now kind of seeing him with his team and just playing and just having fun, that's all I wanted. So for sure, again, that was just kind of my message to parents and just players. Understand your parents are going to love you regardless if you play basketball or not, and just play the game. Don't worry about all the little things about the rankings or stock or all this stuff. I mean, those things, they don't really matter. When you worry about those things and you're playing basketball, it shows. So when you just worry about playing basketball and helping your team win and just doing what's best for, the person beside you, your brother, who's your teammate, to help them win this game and encouraging them, all that stuff kind of falls in place. And just keep just working at it. You can just tell when you kind of focus more on stocks, when you kind of focus more on rankings or what this person thinks or what this evaluator thinks, you start playing a little bit more selfish brand of basketball. And at the end of the day, doing it your way like that just doesn't work at the end. And like I said, it shows. So I encourage players, your parents are there for you. They love the hell out of you. And if you just continue to play just to win basketball games and do whatever you can just to help your teammate, and help your teammates and your coaches just win the games. Winning translates. I think people fail to realize. Some people fail to realize that winning translates. You know, you can have 41 points. I mean, guys that I'm talking about, obviously some lost. You know, like in games, but they're close games. They made winning basketball plays. They translate. The teams are winning. They're being very successful. You know, like Garland's only lost 2 games this season. When you talk about Lake Highlands and JJ Pierce, you know, they're fighting for second, third in the district. They have probably like a +8 to 9 win-loss differential. You know, when I talk about the Atlanta, Texas with Damian Collins, they're supposed to win. They're projected to win, go 3-4 rounds deep. You know, winning translates. And if you put up nice box score stats, but your team is continuing to lose and in the situations, I mean, it's nice, but winning translates. And that's the end of the day. And what I like to talk about is guys that are performing, but also helping their teams win. And because at the end of the day, college coaches, you know, they look at that stuff too. I mean, obviously you got to be talented, but and your talent and your ability has to be good enough for the level. But winning does matter because they got to win, right? If they don't win, they get fired. So definitely, just kind of, I know it's just a little side conversation, but that's just something big for me. I really want to see guys. I want to see these players thrive. I want to see these parents happy. I want these kids, whatever their dreams are, I want them to get it. But I do want to see some just better attitudes and just a better atmosphere, you know, for these players just to provide that same thing for their teammates. So gonna just I wonder, do we have our guests on the show? I guess not. So we're just gonna continue to go with ISO Ani. You know, I feel a little bit like Stephen A. Smith a little bit. I got my black polo on. I'm feeling really good. So we're just gonna keep talking. Couple things that you know, that I kind of been seeing just player wise. I want to pay attention to Houston Christian. They've been playing really, really well this season. The Woodlands with Houston Christian. I'm just going to keep talking about Houston a little bit. You know, Noah Khan. I know we talked about him previously with Marcus Sloan. You know, performing well. He's a 2021 that just really kind of coming to his own. You know, really getting into the basket, finishing, making plays for his teammates and others. Been getting a few calls about him too. Just productive. He defends, he plays hard, and I've known Noah since he was like in 7th grade, and he's just a competitor. He's really leading Houston Christian. It's going to be, I don't know what SPC, I think SPC is actually going to do similar to a state championship this year. So it'll be interesting to see how far he can take those boys. I know they won 2 straight. I think he has 2 in his belt. With Xavier Wheeler was in that under the helm, and I know he really wants to get one for himself and his team, especially the senior year. You got Elijah Bernstein, who's another 21, who's been performing, really hit shots, tough, shoots it from deep, and he's getting a lot done for Houston Christian. So definitely want to talk about those guys. They've been performing well, and they're just really been holding their own. The Woodlands, really enjoy watching them play. Austin Benini gave me 41. He's a 2022 guard, and just been hearing a lot of good things just how they're continuing to play. The Zion Pimpkins kid, he really intrigues me. He's a freshman. He's out there. He's really shooting the lights out from deep. Got a strong body, good length. I don't know what his wingspan is. I got to hit up Zion and see what the deal is on that or his coaches. But he's a kid that just really intrigues me. And, you know, he's really, really coming to his own. A couple kids from Houston that just kind of been looking out on Twitter, been hearing some, kind of been watching a little bit of film. You got Fort Bend Bush. You got Tyler Smith. He's a 2023. We don't talk much about him on this show. I know numbers can kind of be sorry, someone called me. I had to get off that. Which he, you know, his numbers been consistent, which is common for sophomores. But no doubt about it, one of the best sophomores in the class and in the country. He's a lefty that can, with great positional size, length, shoots the basketball well from deep, and just his upside is tremendous. I mean, I remember watching him play a couple months ago, and he made 3 plays. He probably had 9 points, but in those 3 plays, it's like that move translate to whatever level you want to peg it to. So definitely want to talk about Tyler Smith. I've been seeing him doing well. I've seen he's been playing physical more and rebounding. Been seeing his rebound stats and really impressed with him. So now we got Coach BT on the show. Really happy to have him on the show. We're going to go back and forth. BT, he's another guy that gave my team the business this past couple weeks, and we're gonna chop it up with Coach BT. Okay, I guess we're having technical difficulties right now. But yeah, BT, really, when you talk about programs and you talk about growth, there's always like a 3 to 4 year process, and you really got to see Faith Family's growth within that time. Jordan Walsh, Trey Clayton, they came in as freshmen, and they were a big part of them winning a state championship 2 years ago. When I remember that. That was my last time being in San Antonio. Obviously, it was the last state, Final Four situation, but that game against Yates was a classic. It was a game I'll never forget. Trey Clayton probably had one of the best. I haven't seen it, but in my opinion, had the best performance as a freshman in a situation like that I've ever seen. I mean, he had 40-plus points. I know he had like 40 points, had a double-double, was tough, just went against their size and length and the athleticism. Yates was fast. They're always fast. They're going to press the hell out of you. They're going to get the numbers up. They're going to talk their noise. And Faith Family just kind of came after them. They were young. Jordan Walsh had some big plays down the stretch. He had the game-winning dunk. That made it that was in the championship game. I apologize, but I mean he had big plays against Yates that year, and then there was a couple other guys just really kind of made some noise, but they were Faith Family just really grown throughout the years, and in San Antonio that year it was a joy to watch. They had some classic games, they had some classic performances. Just really happy for BT. So.
My guy Ani in the building.
Brian Burton in here. 45.
What's good, man? ISO Ani, man. We had to give you ISO time.
ISO Ani. Hey, I had to talk like when Burton coming in, but I said it's all good, I got ours in my Stephen A. Smith mode.
You just out here doing what you do, man. We had to give you some ISO Ani time.
Yeah,
give the people what they want. So we got Coach Brandon Thomas. Faith Family Academy in the house. Excited to have him on. We will bring him straight to the studio. Coach, what up?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Excited to have you on today.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So we're gonna boot Ani out of the studio real quick. Let him get his bearings done really quick. Since he can't handle ISO for too long. If he wants, like the player you coach that asks for an ISO, but then they don't know to do it.
Hey, so hold on. I ISO for a good 45 minutes. In a game, that's like ISOing for like 5 straight possessions.
You say you want to be called ISO Ani. I mean, that's what James Harden does all day, man. You gotta get used to that. You gotta get your stamina up.
I'm not James Harden. I'm working.
All right, we'll bring you right back, Ani. Coach, so tell us about real quick before we get too much into this year's team and everything that's going on now. Tell us about Faith Family Academy in general. A lot of people may know, some may not know, but one of the best programs in the state of Texas. So tell us about Faith Family and how it all came about, how you got there. Tell us any part of the journey you want to share.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, and we're always honored when we get a chance to represent our program in any form. Faith Family's actually been around for a while. I mean, I'll admit I hadn't heard much about it. And I think, just honestly in general, charter schools were just not something that was on my radar and probably on most people's radar when it comes to competing, especially within UIL. I know AAA probably were one of the first, if not the first, to win a state championship and kind of blaze that trail and start start the trend of people looking, at other opportunities and other ways that their kids can go and play and compete and get quality education. So my staff and I, who I've been with now, this is year 7 for us together as a staff, same staff. We were together at Cedar Hill, and we had just finished our 3rd year there. We had lost in the playoffs, very disappointing loss to Allen, a very good Allen team, by the way, but they'd beaten us. And I got a call from a guy by the name of Dean McGuire, and it was just kind of random. And he was, talking about faith, family, and he was the chief operations officer there, and but he'd been a coach before. He actually was the assistant coach on Phil McNeely's staff at Duncanville for years. I mean, probably during Phil McNeely's whole career, and so he knew he kind of kept his his finger on the pulse of just the landscape of high school basketball here in the area. And so when they got ready to move up, I think they were coming from 3A to 4A, and just felt like that was a big transitioning moment for their program, and and their job was open. According to him, he reached out to Phil McNeely and said, "Hey, we're looking for a coach. Is there anybody that you could point me in the direction of? Even somebody that may have a good situation already. We just want to go after what we feel could be the best coach for us." And Phil McNeely pointed him in my direction. And, we were in the same district as Duncanville. And, he had always been real generous to myself and my staff whenever we would play Duncanville over there. And, he always told us he was a fan of how we did things and how we had just kind of turned that program around in the short amount of time that we've been there. So he pointed in my direction, and I think he made a few other calls to guys he knew, like Coach Dyer, who's a good friend of his as well. Coach Dyer from DeSoto, obviously. And he said Dyer put the stamp on it. It was like, yeah, matter of fact, not only is he a good coach, but if you can get him out of our district, I'd appreciate that. So that kind of started it. He made a phone call to me, and we ended up meeting up. And, one of the things that really got my juices flowing was that, him and, our superintendent, Molly Purcell, they said, "Hey, we don't want to hire a coach to come over and get our program going here and just go after state championships. We want to be one of the best in the country." And to hear that come from the top, that was music to my ears. I mean, I coached at that time. I'd been a head coach for almost 10 years, I believe. And, I'd had some teams that were nationally ranked, but we never sought after that. We never went after that. It was kind of just a byproduct of us having a good program and being good in any particular year. But to go and work somewhere and lead the charge of a program where that's what they're going after. They want to be the best. They don't just want to be the best in the state of Texas. They don't want to just be one of the best in the state of Texas. They want to be the best, period. And obviously that's a goal that's, kind of like shooting for the moon, but that's what I'm in it for. I mean, it just got me excited, and everything that we told them that we thought we needed to run a program, to build a program, to maintain a program that can routinely compete at that level and have success, they've delivered on, and then some. So that's the short version. We've been there now this is our 4th year there. That first year we were there, we had some guys that really helped us lay the foundation down. And we, Raheem Gary, Michael Lenore, KJ, Langston Murphy, Jeremiah. We had some dudes that really went hard for us, really were willing to just put their hands in the dirt and grind for us. And a lot of those guys were guys that were kind of, forgotten guys, kind of the guys that, had that chip on their shoulder and, and had a lot to prove. And that's what you want. You always need those kind of guys in the program. I know Ani mentioned, guys like Jordan Walsh and while Jordan is a phenomenal player and he's been one of the centerpieces for our program since we've been there. I can't, forget about those guys that were there prior to him that really laid that foundation of just true grit and hard work. And that's one of the pillars that you got to have in a program when you're talking about building from the ground up. So it's not a surprise to us that it's kind of taken off and happened. A lot of people say it's been very quickly. Well, maybe at Faith Family, but in terms of the way that our program and our staff and the things that we believe in and the things that we stress every day, this has been in the making for us well before we got to Faith Family. Faith Family is just the place where we are now and getting to experience the fruits of that labor.
Yeah, tell a little bit of Coach. I know from being a college coach who's recruited your program, I've got a chance to see you do what you do well. You come from the Midwest, believe Chicago. You've seen a lot of good basketball. You were at Cedar Hill. Just talk a little bit about your own success story before we get to talking about the program and the players, because I think it's important for people to know. People may not know it as well. You're not necessarily in a traditional school at this point, so sometimes that doesn't get celebrated the same way. So we want to make sure we celebrate that. But you've done a heck of a job. You've won a lot of championships in your day. You've won a lot of games. You've coached a lot of NBA players and great players. So let's talk a little bit about that before we go to Faith Family a little bit more.
Yeah. I knew I wanted to be a coach when I was in high school. I was never one of those guys walking around saying I want to make it to the NBA or anything like that. I wasn't that good. I was able to see the game and analyze the game even as a 16, 17-year-old, I believe well beyond my years. And so I went to college and went to Grambling State University, played there, majored in education. I'm not one of those guys that kind of ended up in the school system because I wanted to coach. No, I majored in education, social science education, and because I wanted to be, at the time, I wanted to be a teacher and coach. So I graduated Grambling. My wife and I, we got married. I went to Grambling. She was at Florida A&M. We got married right after college, and she got a job offer and in Chicago that was pretty good for her. And I said, hey, you know what? Let's go there. That's a basketball town, one of the best basketball towns in the country. I'll figure it out once I get there. And God just always opened up doors for me. And when I got there, I met a guy by the name of Sonny Parker. And just working out at a local recreation center, he had a youth foundation he was running. And at the time, I didn't know these guys. I didn't know who he was either. But, after going there for maybe a month or so and just working out and seeing him in there on the weekend, he asked me, did I want to help out, because I'm there every day. And he said, you look like you play some basketball in your day. Would you like to help me out? I said, sure. Well, Sonny Parker is Jabari Parker's dad. And at the time, Jabari probably was 10 years old. But so I got a chance to be around one of the basketball icons in Chicago that summer. And again, it was just by chance. And, got a chance to see a lot of guys at a very young age, like Derrick Rose and Anthony Davis and Evan Turner, and the list goes on. And the next thing that happened for me was my wife was working for a guy. The CEO of her company was the president of the board of a high school named Hales Franciscan High School. Well, this is at the time, it was one of the best programs in the state of Illinois. And Sonny knew the coach over there very well. So she knew the board of the guy who was the board president who had played there. And then Sonny knew the coach, and they were bringing in a kid that just moved to Chicago from Michigan that Sonny was kind of, handling at the time. And he was going to go to Hales Franciscan. This kid's name was JaVale McGee. And Sonny went to the guy and said, hey, I got a young guy here. I think he can help your program out. And make a long story short, Sonny introduced me to the coach. My wife's boss introduced me to the principal. So I guess that's just where I was supposed to be. Ended up being there for 3 years, won a state championship there, got my first head coaching job at one of the worst schools in the city at the time. But, you know, what a lot of young coaches don't understand is, and I talk to a lot of guys now who are young coaches, and I say young, not necessarily young in age, but just young in experience. I say, hey, if you're waiting around for the DeSotos and the Cedar Hills and the Lancaster type jobs, you're gonna be waiting forever. You know, you got to go get a job that nobody wants. You know, that's the only way. That's how you get the job in the first place. Nobody else wants it, and you got to go there and prove not that you can win a state championship, but that you just know how to run a program. You know, take a program that's a perennial loser to a 500 program. Take a program that's a 500 program to a playoff program. And so I took a job that nobody wanted. Matter of fact, when I got there, it had been an all-girls school for maybe 30 years. And the first year I was there was going to be the first graduating class, and of it being a co-ed school. And we won state in the first year. So that just put, you know, that kind of served notice to the city of Chicago that hey, this guy that's from Dallas, you know, he's for real, you know, he's serious about this thing. And that just kind of jump-started my career right there. And, you know, like you said, I've been a part of some really great teams, some really good players, some really good coaches, man. I think I've had some of I've been blessed to have really good coaches in my program. We ended up moving back to Dallas primarily because, you know, my wife and I have been married for 9 years before we had kids. And when we had kids, we knew this was a place where, you know, we wanted our kids to be. And, you know, just the way of life here is just much better for raising a family than it is living in the inner city of Chicago. So, and plus my wife was tired of the cold. So moved back home, got the Cedar Hill job. And, you know, like I said, we went over there in 3 years over there. We were 82-16. The only thing we didn't do there was win a state championship, which I believe all arrows was pointing in that direction. But, you know, God had another plan for us, man. And we came over to Faith Family and continued that same path we were on. And now we're here, you know.
Absolutely, Coach. What's the favorite part about being in Dallas now? You've been in Cedar Hill, now you're at Faith Family, and what would you just say about what you love about you've been in Chicago? People don't always appreciate Dallas and Texas for being a basketball haven for players, for coaches. So what would you say that you love about Dallas, and what would you kind of from somebody who's been in two different places and seen it, what would you say as far as where Dallas ranks up among some of the best cities when it comes to basketball?
You know, people ask me that all the time, what's the difference? And when I initially got back, I told people, well, Chicago, basketball is to Chicago what football is to Texas.
Yep.
You know, I mean, in the summers in Chicago, you can't drive a city block without seeing a packed outside basketball court. They have outdoor leagues that kids play in. You know, kids don't play outside here anymore, you know. And that was the thing that was the difference when I got home. But now I tell people that I believe I came here at the right time, and I believe I left there at the right time because Dallas trumps, I mean, Texas period trumps Illinois when it comes to high school basketball now. I mean, the players that are coming out of this state, I mean, the amount of All-Americans, the amount of kids that are going on and, you know, being an immediate impact at the next level, there's no comparison. I think I was there in their glory years where you had Derrick Rose, #1 pick, Anthony Davis, #1 pick, Evan Turner, Jahlil Okafor. I mean, you know, we got a chance to see a whole lot of kids play there in the city that ended up being, you know, top draft picks and lottery picks. And when I got here, that's when it started here with guys like Julius Randle. So to answer your question, I think being here, I've been a part of just the culture boom of basketball here. You know, I've gotten a chance to experience it firsthand. You know, when I got home, you know, the social media impact, even stuff like what we're doing right now, you know, it just wasn't as prominent. I used to tell my coaches all the time, I was like, man, you know, in Chicago, after every single game, I mean, it doesn't matter who we played, where we played, you know, the Chicago Sun-Times, I'm talking about mainstream media, Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago Tribune, they were going to have somebody at your game covering your game. They're going to have a microphone in your face after the game, a recorder getting a quote, and there was going to be a write-up the very next day. Right. Here, that is gotten there now, but when I got back, that wasn't the case. Heck, my staff was like, man, basketball season doesn't start here until the state championship of football has been played. Well, that's changed now. You know, you know, you got guys like Glenn who, you know, doing the Hoop Fest and things like that. I believe that the national spotlight is on not just Texas, but, you know, specifically DFW right now. And to be a part of that and see that grow has been a great experience for me.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm going to pass to Ani and let him get he's back as a teammate. We love teammate Ani too. What you got for us, Ani? Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
All right, Burton, you gotta make me be great, man. You can't be muting my mic. Hey, but Coach, like I was saying earlier, you know, just really enjoy kind of watching you built the Faith family into a powerhouse. Just talk about the struggles early on, you know, first couple of years, just, you know, building it to what it is now.
I gotta admit, I wouldn't classify anything as a struggle. You know, I think we probably had more of a struggle when we took over at Cedar Hill.
Okay.
Because, you know, at Cedar Hill, there was tradition, there was expectation. At Faith Family, there was a little bit less of that. So there was a little bit less urgency. You know, I don't consider anything pressure. I think you earn the right to be in the position that you're in. And, you know, but it was a real kind of casual approach. Like, hey, you know, we told them, hey, give us 4 years, you know, give us 4 years. And it wasn't like we were saying, give us 4 years because we really want the job. It was more so, hey, don't think just because, you know, we're coming over here, this is going to happen immediately. You know, give us 4 years to get this program to a competitive level is what we were saying. Yeah. And here we are in year 4. And, you know, I think we've exceeded that. So there wasn't any struggles. I mean, those kids wanted what we had to offer. They wanted an opportunity. They wanted an opportunity to showcase their talent. And they wanted to feel like they were a part of a real program. You know, I think, you know, sometimes you can have the approach of, you know, this being just an extracurricular activity. And we made it clear to guys when we got there, this is not going to be that. You know, if you're looking for an extracurricular activity, you're not going to last, you know, and those kids were very receptive to that. So, and that's why, you know, I named all of those guys early on here because those were the kids. If those kids did not believe, accept, and receive, you know, the program, the philosophy, you know, the grind, the work that comes along with it, the time, the energy, if they didn't take on that responsibility and allow themselves to be held accountable, then this process, we wouldn't be where we are right now in the process. So the struggle, if anything, is maintaining it. You know, when you have a bullseye on your back and you know every game you play, you're going to get everybody's best. When they beat you, they're going to celebrate like they won the Super Bowl, you know, and, you know, so, and again, we've earned that right. But I think, you know, just keeping your kids humble, keeping your kids focused on what got them in that position in the first place. You know, again, we're in this day and age where, you know, social media is a monster, you know, good and bad, you know, and ugly. And so, you know, just keeping kids focused on what our priorities are as a program and, you know, being able to navigate and navigate the noise is what we say. And that's more of a struggle than building the program. Building the program, I mean, if you have you have the support from the top brass. You got resources. You got a quality school, a quality education. We're a school district that you can offer people, and you got a top notch, approach to basketball in terms of just organization. I think everything else kind of takes care of itself, So it hadn't been much struggle. Like I said, we're in struggle right now, just keeping our guys focused.
So you talk about navigating through the noise. How do you navigate through the noise?
For me, obviously. I mean, you mean me personally, or you mean us?
Just for you, how you get the boys?
It's every day. Every single day, not letting up. It's just, it's just a constant reminder to them of what's at stake, what's important, what we have to protect, obviously. And, the basketball piece takes care of that. I mean, it don't matter how, we won last night by maybe 50 or 60 points. But when I see my guys today, they know they got something, they got to pay the price for some in-game goals that we didn't meet last night. So, finding those ways to still, connect with your team and get them to value things, even if they beat a team by 50, right? Bringing them back down to earth, letting them know that, hey, we didn't play the perfect game. Bobby Knight is a guy who I studied when I was young in my career. And he said, he was his pursuit was, we're talking about a guy who coached the last perfect season in college basketball. And he says, he's going to retire as a coach that never coached the perfect game. And I was like, wow, you coached the perfect season, went undefeated and won that championship, but you never coached the perfect game. And that's kind of, in a sense, the mentality that I have. I don't care if we beat a team by 100. I can go and find something that we can improve upon, or something that we didn't do at a level where I think we should be able to do it. And so it's not really focusing on the noise. It's focusing on the goal. It's focusing on, a level, it's focusing on a standard that we've set. And if you continue to do that and you not get caught up as a coach, leader of the program, your coaching staff, if you don't get caught up in what people are saying when you're playing well, and, you got all these highlight type plays and whatnot, then the kids won't, and that's just what that is. We have people that come to our games, and, we got some guys. Our guys, we got some guys that can probably go and compete in the NBA dunk contest, and they do stuff in games, man. And as a staff, we're over there like, and they're like, man, why aren't you guys all excited about it? Well, we see that stuff every day. So we're kind of immune to that. We're blessed to have those kind of guys and be talented like that. But, we're looking at, what are you going to do after that? Are you going to celebrate? Are you going to find a camera and stare at it? Or are you going to sprint back on defense and find your man? So those are the things that we keep the kids focused on. And that kind of helps them drown out the noise, because we don't give them an opportunity to kind of bask in that glory.
Coach, real quick, talk about the guys on your team. There's a lot of talented dudes on your team. Some people know, some people don't. They should know, but let's just talk about your team players and what your team is made up of and who the players are.
Well, we're probably, man, we're definitely one of the most athletic teams around here. We have a whole lot of team length. We have a lot of youth. We only have 3 seniors on the team. We had senior night last night. But, when you think of Faith family, it's going to start with Jordan Walsh. Jordan he'll be the first 4-year varsity starter I've ever coached. He was the first freshman varsity starter I ever coached. I never had a freshman on varsity prior to him. He's improved his game every year. Every statistical category has gone up every single year. He's averaging a double-double right now. He leads our team in scoring, rebounding, blocks, and assists. So he's the catalyst for what we do. He's a guy that, we call him those top of the food chain guys. And, he's a guy that we know the other team will have a level of focus on. And, and he knows that. And when you know that, okay, yeah, you got to have a lot of things in your bag because, they're not going to let you, teams not even going to let you run down the floor and dunk on them, not the good teams anyway. And, so he's grown his game to have counter moves. He's grown his game to understand that, okay, if my shot isn't going, let me go get it off the glass. Let me run the floor. We call them those guys that just can't be denied. And we've played against some of those guys this year. We say, hey, man, this guy isn't going to be denied. We need to focus on somebody else because he's not going to be denied. Jordan's slowly become one of those guys. And I like what I like about him is that he didn't come into high school as one of those guys with some big reputation or name or, somebody labeling him as a future McDonald's All-American or something like that. He's earned everything he's gotten. And so he kind of gets it started for us. Then we got quite a few guys. TJ Caldwell's another guy that came in last year. We've kind of played him all over the place. Similar to Jordan, he just about played every position for us except center. Right now he's playing point guard for us. And I like his development. I mean, he's a guy that when he got there, he didn't dribble much, he didn't shoot much. He kind of just played defense for us and, maybe average 8 or 9 points a game. And slowly but surely he's become a guy that we can depend on in terms of scoring. Now that he's transitioned to the point, it's not easy. I mean, he transitioned to the point mid-season and, he's been in go mode all season. And now I'm saying, hey, I need you to maybe take your feet off the gas just a little bit and get your head up and see other people, and he hasn't flinched. I mean, he's one of the most coachable guys I've ever been around with the amount of talent that he has. He's so humble and coachable. He doesn't know how talented he truly is. His future is extremely bright. Dallas Hobbs was a starter for us last year. All of these guys are juniors for us as well. Dallas is another guy that, last year's a starter. A lot of kids think, if they play JV as a freshman that, the automatic progression is varsity as a sophomore. Well, you may play varsity, but you may not experience the level of success that you think you're going to experience because it's still tough to do it at the varsity level, especially when you're playing at a program where, there's an expectation, there's a spotlight, people are trying to beat you, you're getting everybody's best. So he struggled. And I think he would agree with that as a sophomore. But this year he comes back. He's just about tripled his scoring average. He's shooting about 45% from the three-point line. His assist turnover ratio is like 4-1 right now. At least it was when I checked like a week ago. So I like, we don't just have, obviously you got to have talented guys, but we have talented guys that are productive and their production is increasing and getting better as they get older and mature and as the season goes on. Another guy we have, Brandon Walker. Brandon Walker, this is his first year playing varsity for us. And I mean, last night he had a couple of dunks where he just caught the ball. He didn't even take a step. He just went straight up and dunked the ball. Well, he couldn't do that at the beginning of the season. So, to see guys, again, develop as the season goes on is always a joy and, just kind of a tip of the cap to the program and my staff. But Brandon is, again, he's one of those guys just about averaging a double-double, leads our team in field goal percentage. Again, another just really coachable guys. I mean, all of these guys are going to transition to the next level and help a team win. Makai Collins is another guy. Just recently committed to Nicholls State.
Yep.
6'7". He's impacting the game without scoring. And, you need those guys. I told him at the beginning of the year, hey, we need a Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace type guy. I don't even know if he knew who Ben Wallace was, but
right now.
I know him. He's a smart kid. He probably went and did his research, and that's kind of what he's become for us. Just an interior defender. Finishes well around the rim, plays above the rim, big time shot blocker. His coach, Coach Easy for Showtime, calls him the best shot blocker in the state. I don't know about that, but he's definitely one of the best. He's the best one that we have. And we're talented, man. We got some young guys. DeAndre Barrett, it's a freshman who started probably about 12 or 13 games for us. So he's gotten some quality experience. Big Dorian, Unwoodchekwa, I think I pronounced that right. But Big Dorian, another 6'9" freshman that we have that has a ton of upside, really has a chance to be one of those blue chip recruits in the country. And the good thing about those guys, again, is that they're coming in, they're getting varsity experience as a freshman. They're practicing with varsity guys every year. They're playing against varsity guys every game. And the hope is that, when their dreams and their scenes, that they're just, the experience, there's nothing they haven't seen before. And that's how you're able to compete at that national level. You got to have guys who, playing on that stage and that platform and under that spotlight is nothing to them. It's nothing. It's just who they are. So you're kind of raising them in that to where when it's time for them to go lead the program, it's nothing for them to do.
Right. Got a quick comment from Tim Littlefield. He saw him in San Antonio, like him. Big, that can move, and is fluid. That's one of the guys giving you some respect. What I respect about BT is the consistency to build his program culture. We're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to bring in another guest, of course, our guy, Iso Ani, who he probably changed his name to Steve Smith while we were gone, and then now he's come back, and now it's Iso Ani again. But we're going to talk to another really big-time coach who is starting to get the recognition, and he's gotten the recognition as a player, a high-level player. He's gotten recognition now recently as a grassroots coach, and now he's getting into the what do they call it? The high school. I'll say the high school, but not quite the UIL, but the interscholastic coach. So he's doing a tremendous job. Very similar to yourself. I think it's kind of outside of the box. So when you're outside of the box, people kind of sometimes may look at you a certain way or may not want to respect it the same way. But I want to give him a chance to talk about his program and what he's done there. So we got PJ Kuznard in the house from Houston. PJ, what up, man?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Not too much, man. Glad to have you on, man. So tell the people real quick your story, who you are, and what your program is that's down there in Houston.
My story is simple, man. I'm just a kid that's just trying to have fun in this and trying to do it the right way and help kids, accomplish some of the things that I accomplished or things beyond me, and let them get a chance to enjoy this process and for the families to enjoy it. I played basketball. I started my basketball high school. I was at Yates. I'm a Yates kid. Went to Wichita State all 4 years. Played professionally about 10 years and kind of started my Cruz Elite stuff. I started Cruz Elite actually my first year out of college. Funny thing about it, people don't know, I started it at Sunrise Christian Academy. That was where I first held Cruz Elite camp for the first 3 years. It was at Sunrise Christian, and I went from there. As I was playing professionally, I was steady building the brand. And then once I got done playing professionally, I started coaching. Cruz Elite, I had a good group of guys for a long time. They did some special things, and now we here where we at today.
Love it. And Cruz Elite has definitely made a name for itself. You're now again in the interscholastic realm, making a name for yourself there. Talk a little bit before we let you and BT kind of both chime in about the program that you've started out there.
Man, it was a great opportunity when Miss Carey came to me. She actually she actually brought her son to a practice of mine, and then she was like, "Hey, I got a head coaching opportunity for you if you want to pursue it." And that's kind of how the job just kind of fell into my hands. Right. And she told me the things that I could do and all that type of stuff. And I was like, wow, that sounds like something I really want to do. And I took the job. And from day one, man, a lot of people don't know we have an actual school, like an actual campus. A lot of people think we're in some type of warehouse or some type of school.
Tell them real quick what your school is so they know.
Our school is in Spring, Texas, 2727 Spring Creek Drive in Spring, Texas, right down the street from Spring High School. We have 2 buildings. We have a football field. We have a baseball diamond.
And the Legacy School is what it's called, right, Coach?
Legacy School of Sports Sciences.
There we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a great opportunity. We started year one. Year one, building was still getting built. So we didn't have a gym. We used to practice outside in the parking lot, no rims. She bought us some rims. So we actually had like our first year, the first kids that came to the school literally practice outside. And to go from that to where we are today, I have like 3 kids that was here from year 1 that's still here, part of the program. And they in amaze that every day we come in like, man, can you believe we didn't have a gym to practice in? Now we have our own gym and our own stuff, and we kind of got things rolling.
Absolutely. So I gotta say, BT, PJ, I know you guys are in 2 different cities. Have you guys played each other or met each other before? I don't want to assume. I know Texas is a big state, but
yeah, no, they actually came down and played and the same day we played Duncanville, and they played Shadow Creek before, and that was my first time meeting Coach. We talked previously on the phone when we were setting the game up. We actually were supposed to play them, but we had COVID issues to where the game got canceled. We were supposed to play them on the 23rd, but from meeting them in that amount of time, I could tell, and I just was listening to his interview, I could see, he's cut from the same cloth, that we are a pretty stand-up guy, work hard. He said consistency, a lot, that's kind of the same beliefs and same things I believe in. So I had the utmost respect for him, especially he's been doing it. I'm young in this game. A lot of people, they compare me to all these guys that done so much and accomplished so much. And I'm like, yo, it's levels, man. These guys are, they are there. I'm trying to get there. I'm just starting. I'm only 3 years in. They got good resumes, and I'm not there yet. But I don't mind being in the conversation with them. I just want to learn from them, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Coach. And like I was going to say, when you were talking about, practicing out in the parking lot, you said we have a real school. No, they do. It's definitely that. And, it was quite impressive, man, that just the operation that they have going there and how quickly, again, they've put their stamp in, on the map in terms of, everybody knows they're going to be a program to reckon with here. Now, not even in the future now. And, I think, and Coach and I, like I said, we've had some conversations on the phone and like they say in the streets, real recognize real, and I know this guy is going to be extremely successful down there. He probably got a lot of people down there, I'm shaking right now because they know here's another option for kids, and that was the thing with us coming to Faith Family. People, they thought we were nuts. Like, how could you leave Cedar Hill? And it's like, well, one thing they didn't know about me is that every school that I've coached at in Chicago was kind of similar to Faith Family. So it wasn't a scenario where I was going to where I felt like I was a fish out of water. I mean, Chicago is full of those types of places where the schools are small and, the gym is small, but the basketball tradition and expectation is huge. And I know, where he's at right now and being a non-traditional option for kids. Kids want to go where they can be pushed, challenged, play with the best and play against the best. And that's what he's presenting for them. So they're not going anywhere, man. They're going to be around for a while. I wish we could have played that game too, Coach. I knew that would have been definitely a good tool sharpener for us going into the playoffs for sure.
So I'm gonna let Ani jump in real quick. I'm gonna ask Ani a question, and then I'm gonna pass it to both you guys. Ani, what's your expert analysis on both these 2 programs from the outside, and then I'll let each coach talk about what they see in any other program.
For sure, kind of like I mentioned earlier, and I'll talk about Faith Family first, just because BT, really has taught consistency and really has developed his guys. Like he was talking about big fella, I forgot his name. You talk about he caught it and just went up and just dunked. He didn't need any steps. He wasn't someone that could do that in the beginning of the season. You've seen the growth of the guys, like you even seen Dorian, who's grown, and man, DeAndre Bear, they call him man, how he's grown. Just how you develop your guys. Even Darius Miles, when he was with you, I mean, he lost about 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
with you. I mean, you've done a hell of a job just as far as just developing your guys, and you just you teach consistency, and you're not afraid of of any like team. Like you're gonna put your guys out there, and win or lose is it's just a learning lesson. It's just how you guys learn and they bounce back and they get better. And it just how it's been throughout just the years you've been there, and just really, really just impressed by how you just develop your guys and how consistent everything is, just year by year, game by game that I'll be able to watch. PJ, same thing, came in, same thing with consistency. You haven't changed as far as like you keep teaching effort and just developing your guys. And even the first year, even though y'all weren't as good and your record wasn't very good, I mean, your guys played hard. It wasn't an easy win. Guys couldn't just come in there and just beat you. They had to fight for them wins, and then you continue just just be yourself. Just how you develop guys like even PJ, Neil, and Ashton. I feel like has kind of Ashton Smith, the guy the kid is going to A&M. I seen the first game I saw of the season when y'all played, I think Cy Creek, how hard he was playing. I was like, man, I ain't never seen that kid play that hard ever, and that's a product of you. That's a product of just what you kind of built into him, and just all you guys, they play so hard and tough, and that translates. And really, at the end of the day, what with both you guys, it's just you're teaching guys something that's going to translate, not necessarily just on the basketball court the next level of the day, as the team has to play college basketball, just in life, and that's something from the outside that I've seen that I've been really impressed with.
So I'm going to go 2 rounds. I'm going to change it up. So I'm going to go 2 rounds. I'm going to pick 2 words, 1 word for you guys to go around and around, BT and PJ, and then I'm going to pick another kind of question topic. So first word is culture. What does that word mean to you, BT, and what does the word mean to you, PJ, and what makes your culture? Because you guys are obviously doing an elite job at what you're doing and how you're doing it. So that's the first word. And then second round, we go, both of you guys back and forth. What's something you would want people to know about you guys' programs? Because there's a lot of talk, right? There's a lot of things. People say this, people say that. Oh, they do this over there. Oh, they get away with this. Or what would you want people to know when we go second round about your program and about the job that you guys do, so they can maybe respect it differently or see it differently? So we'll start with you, BT. What's your thoughts on the word culture when you hear that?
When I hear the word culture, I think about a book I read a few years ago by Urban Meyer called Above the Line. And, it kind of helped me establish what my program is going to look like, what it's going to feel like. And just to keep it short, we want our culture to be a design, not something that we have by default. And we want our culture to drive out things that are not what we represent. So in other words, if you're a guy that comes and, you're a slacker, we shouldn't have to say anything to you. The culture itself should expose you, and either you're going to get with the program and get with what we're about, or you're going to have to, make a decision on if this is the program for you. And so once you establish that culture, it's around us. When I walk in that gym, I feel it. When my kids walk in that gym, they feel it. They know there's a difference from when it's time to go to work, from when we're just in there kind of hanging out. And even when we're hanging out, there's a way we do that. When you come in there, if kids come in there for open gym in the summer, whatever, just even how we do that is there's a level of organization to it. There's a level of effort in everything that we do. There's 2 things that we say every single day to start practice, and it's attitude and effort. And that's basically, we want you to have a positive, energetic attitude where you can receive coaching, and we want you to give us the max possible effort that you can give us for that day, based on how your body feels. We want everything you have for that day. So that's culture. Just, it's kind of like our 12th man in a sense. Right. It speaks for us. And like I said, if somebody's not, on track with what we're on track, and they're not about what we're about, and it could be, it could be anybody. I tell players all the time, nobody's perfect. I have those days, where, I'm not myself and I'm not on my game. Well, it shouldn't take I shouldn't be able to exist in that gym for too long without saying to myself, oh, I need to get with it because this train's going on without me, and that's what it means for me.
I love it. I love it. Coach PJ?
Man, I have a saying that I tell the boys all the time. You are what you repeatedly do. And that's what we got it posted in the locker room, in the weight room, and they see it a ton of times. They hear it a ton of times from you. You are what you repeatedly do. So if you are one of those guys that repeatedly don't go hard every time, that's who you are, and we build our culture by being the guys that do this. We do it the right way every time. We're going to go hard every time. We're going to lift weights every time. We're going to do this every time. We're going to do the same thing every time at maximum effort. And if you're not, you like Coach Tom say, the coach is going to weed you out anywhere it goes. So, we just live by that. You are what you repeatedly do. So if you want to be here, if you want to play against the best, go against the best, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of sacrifices. It takes a lot of things you got to be willing to give up in order to reach your goal. So what are you going to do? I'm more of I ask the kids, like, I'm more of a dialogue person, make you think about it. Hey, what are you going to do? I'm not going to rah all in your face. What are you going to do? And, it's for your future. I tell the kids all the time, I've done everything I wanted to do in basketball. It's not for me. I'm not living through a kid. Like, this is your life. This is what your parents want you to do. So, just dealing with those type of kids that, that understand the value of why they're here and why they want to do this and why you want to pick up a basketball. And that's kind of how we build the culture.
I love it. Coach Thomas, will you kind of answer that next one where you just talk about what's something you want people to know? You know what I mean? The narratives that are out there may not be the real narrative. So what is the real narrative behind Faith Family, what you guys do, how you do it, and just something you want people to know that maybe is a misconception or maybe not looked at the right way?
That is easy when you have talent. That's the biggest misconception. First and foremost, we've built this program and our school district alone, to a place to where it attracts the talent. People have options now. I live in the Cedar Hill School District. Cedar Hill is an open enrollment school district. Duncanville is an open enrollment school district. DeSoto is an open enrollment school. Dallas ISD is an open enrollment school district. So, when people say, well, the charter schools is easier for them to get talent, we're playing on the same playing field that the other guys are playing on. We really are. And it's a little bit less when you think about the fact that we don't have a feeder pattern where, we have, when I was at Cedar Hill, I knew my freshman team was going to have 100 kids try out for it every year. Well, we don't have that. And so, one, we've done a real good job building what I think is a beacon in the Oak Cliff community that attracts these families and attracts these kids to our school and our program. And it's not easy just because you have the kids. As Coach can tell you, when you got 4, 5, 6 Division I, players that are being recruited to be Division I players, getting those kids to buy into team, getting those kids to buy into the word that nobody wants to hear, share. You want me to share? You want me to play 20 minutes a game when I know I'm in shape to play the whole 32 minutes. You want me to take 8 or 9 attempts when I can easily take 8 or 9 attempts in the first 5 minutes. So that's the misconception. I mean, I think my hat goes off to guys like Coach PJ and other guys in the business. Doug over at Lancaster and PV over at Duncanville. When you have talent, when you have multiple guys that can go get it, right, and you can get them, just them, because in most cases, it's usually not their parents, it's usually not their trainers, it's not their circle. Their circle wants to see them be successful,
right?
And if they feel as though if they're successful, then the team success will follow. Where we're trying to get kids to put the team success first, and be all about sacrifice and be all about sharing. That to me is more at the forefront of my mind every day when I go to work or come home than it is something that has anything to do with X and O's. Keeping my guys locked in to sharing the ball, caring about one another, being excited for another guy. If another guy hits a shot, getting off the bench, jumping up off the bench, clapping for that guy, that is the misconception. They got talent over there, they'll be fine. Well, I've seen a lot of coaches and a lot of programs with talent that, had no foundation, had no culture, and the bottom fell out of that thing. And, I'm here to tell people that, if you think this was just, a flash and, Faith Family's here, no, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be dealt with for a while.
Right. And I'm going to let PJ answer the same question. And then me and I are going to step out of the studio, and BT, before we let go, we'll let you and PJ ask each other one question.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. He pretty much answered it. It's just not easy. A lot of people think we have 8 transfers that I had probably since August, when we still had one that just came last month. So teaching them everything and getting them all on the same page is probably the hardest thing to do. And a lot of people just take that for granted. They like, oh, well, you got the best kids in the city. Y'all should beat everybody by 15 to 20. But yeah, we got the best kids in the city. If we play against a team like Faith or a team like Duncanville or a team like Shadow Creek that have the same kids and they've been consistently doing the same thing, we breaking old habits, we breaking bad habits, we teaching, like I just explained, the culture of the thing. Like, a lot of people just get it misconstrued, like they're thinking, like, okay, you got the best kids in the city, y'all should be 13-0, 14-0, 15-0. Is this, is that, is that? No, it take time, man, and it's a process. It's a process that the good teams and the good programs and the people that done it at a high level, they understand it. The people that want the microwave success, they likely hadn't been that successful, So it's just a thing that you go into it trying to understand, like, hey, like I told my staff, we got these guys, we gotta really jump it into overdrive to get all these guys on the same page. And you always want to be playing your best basketball late rather than early. And that's one of the things that we schedule tough. We're gonna schedule tough every year. I think there's not one team on our schedule that we play probably that wouldn't be either a state finalist, a deep run in the playoffs, or a national team. And we're not gonna change that, no matter who we have in a legacy uniform, because it's the standard. And that's the standard that we want to play. That's the standard we want to be at, and that's the standard that we uphold.
Yeah, so I'll let BT go first. BT, you ask PJ one, and PJ, you ask BT one.
All right, Coach. I coached AAU basketball for one season. I was a coach for the AAU program Mean Streets up in Chicago for a season with Ty Streaks and Carlton DeBose, who's gone on to Nike now. And for me, my team was undefeated. We didn't lose, but we had a bunch of future draft picks on that team. But my question to you is, what is the biggest difference? I think I'm kind of setting this up for you. I think a lot of AAU coaches get a bad rep. You guys aren't really coaching, and you only practice once or twice a week and that sort of thing. And I know that's not the case. I mean, like I said, that summer, the reason I didn't do it anymore was because I knew I wouldn't be able to give my high school team all that I was capable of giving them if I didn't have some time off.
Exactly.
What's been the biggest challenge for you doing and maintaining both?
Man, the biggest challenge is, like you say, the timing of it. A lot of the AAU coaches get a bad rep about getting emotionally into things, right? Because if you're a coach, that picks up a kid every day, you take them home every day, you feed them every day, you picking them up for practice, you also checking on his grades, you also being a counselor to him. You might have a friend that got a problem, or this. You just never know the kid's situation when you're an AAU coach. The programs that had the most successful are the coaches that dig deep and get personal with the kids, that truly sacrifice for the kids. So if you're gonna have an AAU program at a high level and you're sacrificing for the kids and you're sacrificing and you're doing this and doing that, and then you turn around, the difference between the school, they coming to school every day. They gonna get this. You know they're gonna get that. You know they're gonna do this. So the whole thing to maintain it is just the timing of it. You know, the time consuming of it being taking so much time to be a high level AAU coach, especially if you don't have somebody writing you a $500,000 check to cover your summer. You know, if you ain't getting like that, it takes a lot. You know, and it's hard work, and it's definitely some sacrifices that you have to make for it.
For sure. Cool.
Now, my question to you is like even when y'all came here for the game, like how do you get your guys to keep that professional manner when it's not just like y'all walked in, nobody's playing around, nobody's laughing, nobody joking. Walk to the locker room, nobody playing around, nobody laughing, nobody joking. Got dressed, nobody playing around, nobody laughing. It's like they was from off the bus, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of you see that in a lot of great teams. Like we went and played Sunrise Christian this year. From the moment we stepped in the gym, all their guys was locked in, you know, and it was probably an hour, 2 hours before game time, you know. So like that's one question. Then the second part too is like, who do you lean on as far as like when you need advice or you got a question or you got it, like who are probably like some of your mentors?
Gotcha. Well, man, I'm glad you said what you said. I appreciate that, first of all, because that's one of the things that we really value. You know, we want to check all boxes that we can check every single day. You know, things that we can be perfect in, and we always say, you know, you can't get to the game and then turn that switch on. You know, nobody's that good. You know, we want to be locked in. We want to be locked in from the hotel. When you wake up in the morning and it's game day, you should be different. You know, and so that's just a part of our DNA. You know, our kids know this is not, and we lost that game. You know, but you know, we didn't lose that game because we wasn't ready to play. You know, we didn't lose that game because, you know, our guys weren't focused or locked in. We didn't lose that game because of lack of preparation. We lost that game because we played another good program that value those same exact things, you know, and they made one or two more plays than we did. And that's how it goes. And you say, well, when you play teams that are well coached, you play teams that are well prepared, you play teams that have talent, you play teams that are going to value all of the little things, getting back on defense, blocking out every time, not giving up blow-bys. You know, all the coach talk that we talk about. When you play those kind of teams, you can't have any, you know, your armor got to be tight, you know? And so what you just described is what we call being buttoned up. You know, we just tell our guys, hey, let's button up, man, you know, and they know what that means. And, you know, it's time to go to battle. And, I really appreciate you saying that, because I hope my kids watch this because they think it's just us. You know,
it matters a lot. And I'm teaching our kids because, you know, playing this national schedule, it's the first time for a lot of them. And, you know, it's the first time they got a chance to be on this national schedule and see these type of programs, and we still got more to come.
Right.
And I'm just trying to tell them, like, the approach is different. You know, like, you want to be on this level, look how they act. Look how they respond to things. Look how they listen. And look how they doing this. Look, you know, it's right across from you. You know,
right. No, for sure. And that goes back to what we were saying before. In that is more than just having the talent. You got to get the talent, but then you got to raise it. You got to train it. You know, you got to teach it. You know, it's not just coaching. You know, there's a way we walk. There's a way we walk in these shoes. And when you put this warm up suit on and this jersey right here, you know, that you represent something different. You know, you represent something that means something that's valuable. So, man, they hear it daily. They hear it daily. You know, we don't let our guys wear anything to practice. You know, the undershirts and the tights and all those things got to match. You know, all those things. You know, it's just a certain way. I say, hey, you never know who's going to walk in our gym. When they walk in here, they need to feel it first. You know, so that's what's that about. And in terms of who I talk to, man, well, first it always starts with my staff. I mean, I got Coach Ryan Fape. Man, Ryan is my boy. We played together in high school. I've been knowing him since second grade. A lot of experience. Longtime assistant coach at Kimball with Snoop Johnson over there before I moved back here. So there's no big game. There's no scenario he has not seen. So having him on the staff is a plus. Another guy is Coach Miles. My whole staff. I mean, Coach Cornish, Coach Butler. We talked about one guy earlier that couldn't dunk the ball off a vertical without taking a step. Well, that guy's in the gym every morning at 6:30 with Coach Butler on the Vertimax, every minute. So, when you do the work and then you get the fruits of that labor, man, that to me, that's bigger than winning. Like you said, I've as humbly as I can say it, I've accomplished everything as a high school coach that I initially set out to accomplish. I just wanted to win a state championship, and God has blessed me with a few of those now. So I'm and I know that's not something to take for granted, because you have some great coaches that have coached their whole career. Some of the best coaches that I coached against in Chicago never won one. And those are the guys that kind of sharpened me, because they could coach. They could just flat out coach the game. So I know that that's not something to just throw around like it's no big deal. But my point is that what I'm after now is those moments right there. That brings more elation to my heart than just winning a state championship. I feel like if you're going after those things, you're going after development and all those things, then winning would be a byproduct of that, and hopefully you have a chance to play in the last game. And then guys beyond my staff, I still talk to a guy by the name of Gary London. He was the first guy that I was an assistant to in Chicago. He's retired now, but just a wealth of knowledge. That he's seen everything. He's won maybe 5 or 6 state championships, and so many guys have gone on. I mean, it's just a ridiculous number of guys that he's coached that's gone on to the next level and to the pros. And then here locally, Peavy and I probably talk the most. I met Peavy when he initially got the job. We were both in San Antonio for TABC, and one of his assistant coaches at the time, Corey Johnson, who's now at Woodrow, wanted me to meet him, and we went and had lunch, and just we've been pretty close. I mean, again, real recognized real, man. I knew that guy would be successful, and we overlap. We're not the same, but I feel like guys who are focused and got a plan. I mean, we're not coaching a new sport. We're coaching basketball. Done before, so we've read and studied the same people and kind of have the same approach to a lot of things. So I would probably say he's probably the guy I talk to the most here outside of my staff.
No doubt. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely one of the things I try to do. I just try to nitpick and be a sponge,
Right,
be a sponge, because eventually, man, all y'all gonna retire and y'all gonna let me just do what I want to do.
You're right about that. I ain't gonna do this forever. There's a beach somewhere with my name on it, bro.
Yeah, thanks so much for that awesome conversation, fellas. We're gonna let Coach BT get back to his program. We're gonna spend some time with PJ. BT, just thanks so much for coming, man. Mad respect ever since I went in your gym and at Cedar Hill when I was still a college coach, recruiting your program. I got to see the inside and spend time with the staff and see how much you're about this thing, man. And I have the utmost respect. I think you deserve more respect than even you get. I think sometimes people think Faith Family is a player factory, and they forget that there's a culture in place and get the things that you've done. So wanted to give you a chance for sure to be able to just this won't be the last time, but we wanted to give you a chance to talk and share your narrative and people to get to know more of your story. So thanks so much for coming on today.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Much love, and you guys take care.
Okay, man.
All right.
All right, we got ISO on in the building. We got about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, PJ, before he goes to practice and puts his coach hat on. He gets out of So I'm going to let you guys chop it up, and then I'll finish with you, PJ.
All right.
All right, what's good, PJ?
What's going on, honey?
Not much, same old. But for sure, like, I was saying earlier, prior to you coming on, and I was talking a lot about legacy early. You've done a really good job. I mean, you talk about you're going to have about over 10 Division I prospects. You have over 10 Division I prospects on your team. Just talk about how you've been able to get those guys to buy in and still coach. I mean, I know you took some tough losses like against Sunrise earlier in the year. Like, how do you get your guys to bounce back from that and, you know, just handle egos throughout the year?
Man, the whole thing is like, I tell the kids all the time, like, I don't listen to nobody, no outside stuff. You know, like Thomas said that, you know, just block away the outside noise. I don't listen to nobody telling us how good we are. I don't listen to people tell us how bad we are. I don't address none of that. You know, we focus on every day. Are we getting better? And if we're not, that means we need to keep working hard. You know, until we get to where we want to get to. Another thing, a phrase I always say to kids will tell you: hard work is undefeated. You know, if you work hard enough, you're gonna eventually get what you want to get. And when we took Sunrise, the Sunrise loss, it was great for us because it humbled a lot of kids. It let a lot of kids know, hey, I gotta listen. Like, I thought I was there, I thought I was this, I thought I was that, but now it's time to get to that, you know. And we just learned from it a lot, and we've been playing really well. Our practices, before we had the COVID issue, we had like 2 weeks of great practices, and then COVID hit, so we was out for a month. We had 3 practices before we played last Saturday, you know. So like getting them back into the groove of things and maneuvering through this whole COVID thing. Our practices recently our practice has been very intense. You know, we like you say, we got 10 guys, you know, so it's not ones versus twos, it's ones versus ones. Like, we're gonna get after it today, it'll be ones versus ones.
Summer, kind of when guys were talking about, you know, they're coming to your school, there was a decent amount of, well, Twitter was very active as far as, you know, the positive and the negatives.
Yeah.
As far as what you guys were doing, can I just talk about that? That was you were hot. I mean, y'all are hot now, but you were really hot at that time, and you got a lot of. It was just back. It was really, a lot of really good, and there was some bad. But just kind of talk about through that.
Man, it is what it is, man. In this position that you're in the position that we're in, man, you're gonna get both sides. Right. And I actually like it because it's just like college. You know, you go to college, you're gonna have people saying the coaches can't coach. You're gonna have people saying the players can't play. You're gonna have people saying the school ain't the school. You're gonna have people saying everything bad about you. And at the same time, you're gonna have fans that are just super fans. They're gonna say everything you do is good, everything you do is great, everything. So you just gotta find that common balance, you know. My way to find a common balance is eliminating both, you know, and just focusing on the main goal every day. Of course, over the past 3 or 4 years, I always joke with people. I say, man, what would Twitter be without me? You know, some of the people's funniest moments and most controversial moments have came from something that we didn't either done, or something that happened, you know, involving Cruz Elite or something that I'm doing. And I had one of my Cruz parents tell me yesterday, he said, PJ, your life changed every day. I was like, it might do, but you know, I enjoy it all, man. I just let it go. It don't bother me. The bad stuff don't bother me at all. The good stuff, I don't really pay any that much mind to it. You know, I'm all about just helping the kids that I have my hands on and really helping my community out. And if I see the kids go to college and their parents get to post videos and pictures of them in college and stuff, I knew how much fun that was for my parents, and I knew how much fun my community had seeing me on ESPN. My neighborhood, Third Ward, I come home, they're like, oh, PJ, we seen you on TV, we seen you on TV. And I knew the joy that brought to the neighborhood. And also I knew it inspired other young kids that was coming up behind me, kind of like the Pee-wees and the Snap and Yates that had the national teams. I still talk to those guys all the time, and they tell me, man, why I remember when you was on TV and stuff like that. So, you know, Twitter is a fun place, man. It's his own world, it's his own universe. You can find everything you want on Twitter.
Absolutely. So my next question, I guess I'm gonna make a statement. I want you to either agree or disagree, and then kind of keep going on with it. So I believe when you take over a program, it's a 4-year process. That your program, I feel like for what you guys are doing, that 3 to 4 years, that's kind of a testament to that statement. If you agree to that, agree, and then just talk about why it is a 3 to 4 year process in building programs.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that because I should have said this on one of the things that people don't know. When I got hired, I told Carrie, I was like, "Yo, this is a 5-year process." Like I gave her a whole plan of where I wanted to be in 5 years. Now we didn't have rapid success. We already in what I wanted to do in year 5 and year 3, as far as playing a national schedule, having national recruits, having 5 or more in a class signed to play college basketball, all that type of stuff. And it's the reason I said 5 years because it takes a while for you to build your culture. I had a certain culture with Cruz Elite that we play tough, we play together, we share, no jealousy. We don't listen to outside. No, it took me 6 or 7 years to build that culture. Everybody caught wind of us on the final 3 years, but they don't know I had them kids since they was 10, 11, 12, 13. We done went through a lot together. And even the kids that I got this year, I only had them for a year. I don't really have a group, that middle school group that I first have when I'm here. That's the group that's going to have that culture set, and that's the reason why it's a 3 to 5 years, 3, 4, 5 year plan. It's not a 1 year, 2 year deal, So like we be on this national schedule. We play this national schedule for 5, 6 years. You'll see different results, and because we built that culture and now the culture is here.
All right, my mic's unmuted. So, talk about, he said, so you got most of these guys for 1 year. How organized and you got to be, I feel like you got to be proactive, when you get, when you accumulate that much talent and most of these guys are here for just 1 year. How proactive, how organized you have to be so when they do step on campus is, everything's rocking and rolling.
Man, you have to be. Listen, I have the most meetings in the school with the head of people that make decisions than anybody. Because not only on the outside looking in basketball wise, we have to be proactive academically. We have to be proactive, grades wise, clearing houses, NCAA, because a lot of people always say, "Oh, you go to that school, you can't graduate." Nate Lacewell is starting at San Jose State right now. So like those things. To eliminate all that, you just stay in front of it. So you got to be very organized with what's going on. You just have to be aware of what's going
on. So let's talk a few about some of your available 21s. I think you got Aaron Scott, and then you got Jalen Gibson. I think you got Sir Isaac Heron. Just talk about what those guys have been able to bring to the table and. Just talk about them just as players and just on the court and off the court.
Man, Isaac Heron is probably one of the best teammates that I ever ran across. He's very, very smart as far as like he could come and hold a 20, 30-minute conversation with you about the stock exchange or something like that. Like he's a very, very unique guy, but a great teammate. He want everybody to do the same thing. He's a definition of a leader. Jalen is kind of our toughness. He changes the game when he go in. He come from a team where he was the man on the team that went to state 3 times in a row. And he came here and he was like, I don't care about starting. I don't care about doing this. I don't care about doing it. So he's definitely one of the team and one of the glue guys of our team. He's been playing great recently. And all 3 of these guys been playing great. Like Isaac, last game, we don't win without Isaac. Jalen makes plays that we don't win without. And then, of course, Aaron Scott, who's probably been our most consistent guy the whole year. And just a thing about Aaron Scott had a stretch where he had to guard Imani Bates, Kendall Brown, Damon Nichols, Harrison Ingram, and another kid that we played for Our Savior and Lutheran that was 6'9" and committed to UMass. And in all those games, I don't feel that he got washed in either one of those games. He had a great game probably in all of them, and I think this season was probably the biggest test on him because we played so many guys that's nationally ranked at his position and the opportunity. I think he answered the bell on all of them. He had defensively, he's been great all year. A lot of people told me when I got him, he can't shoot the 3-ball. He's probably got the second most made threes on the season this year. Just opening up and expanding his game and truly just being a leader for us.
Sir Isaac has been a kid that been able to watch for a long time, has a mass amount of talent and ability. He plays hard, and he's such a great kid. Like you said, I've had a couple conversations. We didn't talk about stocks. I would love to have a conversation with Isaac about stocks. But we just talk about various things. I mean, he's a very smart kid. He's intelligent. Yeah. He's respectful. He's a kid, no-brainer Division I basketball player. No, without Division I basketball player. Aaron, that's interesting to note. I remember when he was guarding Monty Bates, and he just kind of got into him and got physical. And every time I was talking earlier in the show about him, just how he can just switch on guards and forwards, and he has no fear of taking whatever responsibility defensively and offensively. His 3-point shooting has gotten a lot better, and I believe that that's you guys really kind of just working. I mean, and him put in that work as well. Saw him make big time 3-point shots down the stretch, in close games, and he has no fear of taking the open 3-pointer. So really been impressed with him. Jalen, I really like Jalen. When I first saw y'all play that first preseason game, and just saw how much of a dog he was on the defensive end, and him bring the ball to the floor and making passes. I know he had one no-look pass to the person in the corner. I didn't know if he was going to see that guy. He has really good feel as a passer and as a ball handler as well. He's powerful on drives. So he's a kid. I didn't know he won multiple state championships when he was in Chicago, but he definitely makes winning basketball plays.
Definitely.
Those are 3 guys. Again, like I said, Sir Isaac's no-brainer Division I. I think the other 2 are no-brainer Division I basketball players as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. They all are, man, and that's the unique thing about it. And it says much about kids that's willing to sacrifice for the better of the team, and that translates. Because when you go to college, you knock back down to the totem pole. You're not that superstar. You're not those kids that's gonna get everything spoon fed to you. You got to fight for everything you got, and you got to be able to withstand adversity. Everything's not going to go your way when you go to that next level. And when kids had the experience of, hey, I already been in this position before, there's nothing to me. I'm not going to have an attitude. I'm not going to be a cancer to the team. I'm not going to be trying to make the team click up. Nah, I'm going to make sure everything stay together. And, and I'm going to ride this out, and I'm going to be able to be successful when it's my turn to play.
Absolutely. Well, PJ, I know I have to head to practice, so I have to put my coach's hat on. I did order one. I don't know where it came in the mail. I found one that I said coach's hat. I'll be rocking the show.
No doubt.
Definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely ain't going to be the last time. Really enjoyed your insight. Really appreciate it from me seeing somewhat internally what, have you built this your program and just kind of what you've been doing for these boys. I mean, I really tip my hat off to you. You've done a lot for these boys, done a lot for your community, and it's selfless. It's selfless for what you do, and just continue to do those things. But I really appreciate you having you on, taking the time, and just continue to do what you do.
Man, thank you, Ani. Hey, you have officially been there since day one, since we stepped on the scene. And man, I appreciate you for all the things that the tweets, the write-ups, the follow-ups. Man, I just appreciate all of it. I'm a very humble guy. I don't want any credit for anything that I'm doing. I just want to have fun. I just want to enjoy this whole thing and process. And you're definitely one of the reasons that I'm being able to be in the position that I'm in right now.
Appreciate you.
All right. See you next week, man. Don't hurt nobody out there. All right, PJ, man. Appreciate you coming on. Like he said, we'll end with you for a few more minutes. Talk about the Coos effect, right? What is the Coos effect? And then we're gonna go straight from that to talking about the Twitter comment you had. We got to dive into that a little bit, just for fun. But talk about the Coos effect. You got some guys, Seton Hall, North Texas, San Jose State. We actually just had Coach Prelo on from San Jose State yesterday. They won 3 in a row. He mentioned you're fresh. that's playing really well. Just talk about the Cougs effect, not only on the basketball court, not only for the Cougs program, but these guys are going on to the next level and having success. And not only that, you're having an imprint in the community, making a difference. So just talk about the Cougs effect, because I know it's bigger than just basketball. So go ahead and hit on that.
Yeah, man, it's definitely the basketball part of it is just the smoke screen. You know, we definitely take care of our community more than anything, and the Cougs effect is not just me. I'm one of probably like 9. I got big brothers and big sisters. My big brother does football in the community. He does the same thing. Him and my younger brother, my baby brother, he's overseas in Dubai, but my sister, she does stuff in the community and all that type of stuff. So it's definitely, we definitely do more in our community than what people know and see. We do Christmas drives, we do Thanksgiving drives. We don't post all that stuff because we like our families, you know, to have their, you know, time. They don't want people all in their business and stuff like that. But, you know, just the Cougs effect is not, and the guys that play for Cougs, they see all this. You know, when they practice, they come around, they see the people that we reach out to in our community. They see how the community reacts to us. They see how, you know, they see what we deal with on an everyday basis. So doing the basketball stuff and that's easy. That's really the easy part of it. And like I always say, that's for them. You know, that's for their kids, for the kids and their parents to see their kids on TV. Like, trust me, it's so satisfying for a parent or mother to see their kid on TV rather than have to go see them through a glass. And what we try to do is prevent that from happening. I grew up, the mindset came from where I grew up. I had a group of 12 friends, and it didn't. If I had all my 12 friends playing sports, playing basketball, we all would have been on TV. We all would have did this. But certain people had certain guidances and certain people had certain motives where it didn't happen. So the Cougs effect is I started with 12 kids and I said, hey, listen, all y'all gonna play a sport. All y'all gonna be together every day. All y'all gonna work out every morning. All y'all gonna do this, and there's not gonna be no jealousy, no this and that. And now, you know, all of them on TV playing. Keelan Farouk that started his own company, Germatize. I mean, it's just a blessing just to be a part of it and be associated with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk real quick, just basketball specific, because your basketball way of doing it is different. And the fact that you played at a high level, Wichita State, the fact that you play professionally, but you have a different heart for the demand of accountability and the demand of work ethic. And you've done it yourself, so you've walked the walk. And you have a different kind of a why that's so evident and so obvious that you really want the guys in your program to get it, and you really invest in that. It's one thing to want it, but you really invest in that. So talk about the Cougs effect of what makes you confident that your formula helps kids get ready for the next level? Because it is proven. Right now it's being proven. If it wasn't proven before, the guys that you have that are finally going off to college, that freshman class, they're proving it, you know, and they're doing it early in their career. So what do you think it is, if you had to say, not that you're trying to recruit the next guy or this guy, but essentially people that may see this may be like, wow, that makes sense, or wow, I didn't know that, or okay, that makes sense why he's been able to have this success. What would you say if you had to say and put it in words?
Man, I do it, you know, I tell kids in our program when they sign up for a Cougs or Legacy, even now, you know, everybody, the formula works. You know, it might not work for you, but it works, you know. And I'm one of those guys, like, I understand the process and I don't put too much on everything. A lot of parents, a lot of handlers, trainers, coaches, AAU coaches, they put too much on these little kids, on these kids. You know what I'm saying? When you get to college, that's when it's gonna be pressure. That's when you got to be ready. Of course, you got to push yourself. You got to work hard. You got to be held accountable to get to those spots in those situations. But trust me, it's a different ball game when you're putting on a uniform for that university. So what I do is hey, listen, I'm not gonna yell at you and cuss you out and all that. No, hey, look. This is what you're going to need to do in order to be successful on that next level. Now, either you're going to do it or you're not. And if you're not going to do it here, then you're not going to do it at the next level because you won't get there. So it's just a point of just, you know, calming everybody down. People tell you I got a low key demeanor. I'm the same way all the time. And that's one thing I learned because college. Once you get to college, I was fortunate enough to be the best player on my team for 4 years, and I seen how it wavers. College can have you up, college can have you down. And I seen my teammates, I seen people around me, they just going up and down, up and down. And I learned at a young age, if I stay like this, I'm gonna be consistent. And that's the one thing that helps kids out in college is being consistent. And so the guys that I have now in college, I talk to them all the time, even the ones before that. We got a kid that's gonna be on ESPN with Max Kellerman at 1:30 today. And I just got through texting them to, hey, listen, you got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And, so just the joy of having, keeping the joy in the game, keeping the fun and keeping the kids' love for the game pure at a young, while they're in high school, middle school, elementary, and high school, just keeping it pure and young, because when you get to college, man, it's a whole different ball game. And I don't want to drain them out or be like, oh, man, now I'm getting 8 years of this, 12 years of this. No, man, it's just keeping that fun in the game and holding them accountable while doing that. It's different ways. Everybody's method is different. Everybody do it different, but that's just the way I do it.
Right. So Twitter, you mentioned it earlier, and you there's so much stuff we can say about this, but for the entertainment purposes, what has the Twitter effect done for people perception of Coos Elite, or even just how much fun have you had with it, and how much are you able to teach your kids even through that? Because the Twitter effect has probably helped generate some of the buzz, generate some of the excitement, in some ways generate some controversy, even though it's not controversy. Just what would you say about kind of the Twitter fun, the Twitter effect that Coos Elite has also had, or that PJ would the PJ effect, I would say?
Man, I tell the kids all the time, man, enjoy it, man. Like, it's just Twitter, man. It's not nothing serious. Like, I don't lose sleep over with somebody tweet. My Coos moms and people around me are genuinely tell you, like, I don't care what people say on Twitter and stuff like that. Is because at the end of the day, it's a bigger goal for me. I don't want to be Twitter famous. Like, I don't want to be doing this when I'm 60 years old. I don't want to be doing all that. So we just laugh at it. We have fun with it. People around me might get, caught up or inside of it, but they have a fun for a few days with it. Then it's all over, man. It's nothing. It's very exciting for people. They're like, oh man, PJ, you see this? Yeah. But it's fun, man. The Coos moms, they hold it down on the Coos side and the Legacy side. It's a fun place to be, man.
No doubt about it. Last couple of things, man. What's something that you love about what you're doing at Legacy, and then what's something about just the city of Houston? The city of Houston is known for as a place that, again, guys like yourself have on success and done big things at the next level. Texas as a whole is always is growing more and more respect. It's always been known as a football state. It is growing more respect as a basketball state. So just the city of Houston right now is kind of one of those cities, even last year, that is going a little bit underappreciated, right? Dallas has its own sort of buzz. The state of Texas as a whole has a buzz, but Houston doesn't have quite the same buzz. But again, the quality players are going to the next level and contributing right away. So the two things I would ask you to end is just, what's something that you would like to tell people that you're really proud or excited for about Legacy and what you guys are building, and then just the city of Houston as a whole, what would you say about that?
Man, the most thing I'm excited about at Legacy is the fact that we're building. This year, even in the pandemic, it was a great year for us. If we had no games from from today on out, we still played 7 top national teams. We seen 5 of the top 20 kids on ESPN rankings. I mean, we had a great season, and that's if it was to stop today. We got plenty more going on, and then next year we have an even better schedule, if you can believe it or not. We have a better schedule that we've been played this year. I had college coaches telling me, college coach call me and say, PJ, man, you trying to get in the NCAA tournament? You got the hardest schedule in America. And I was like, yeah, if they let us in there, we'll go play that too. But just the excitement of what we building, you know, and being able to actually build something. And, you know, hats off to the guys that transferred in this year. They set the tone. We got kids we literally got kids on the waiting list to see if we're going to take them or not. But, I mean, it's just a fun time for Legacy basketball, fun time for Legacy school. And, you know, that's just something that we're looking forward to.
And then talk about the city of Houston, if you don't mind, real quick.
Man, I love it. You know, I love it. I love the city of Houston. The city, you know, I love my neighborhood, you know. But I love the city of Houston. I love what we're doing. The kids in the basketball community are winning. You know, they don't necessarily have the push that the Dallas kids have, you know, because kind of everybody got their guys in Houston. But you know, to see the kids support each other, to see the kids, you know, all the kids playing on TV, you know, I'm happy for all of them. You know, if they play for me, if they play for the Defenders, Hoops, whoever they play for, you know, I'm happy to see the kids fulfilling their dreams. The kids know if they need help, they can reach out to me. I help them out, and I never mention a word about it. You know, it's just the city of Houston is a great place, though, man. It's a great place, and to have a school like we have in the city of Houston, you know, in 2 or 3 years, it definitely should be the marquee place to be because there's no city like it.
No doubt. So I said I was going to end you with that. I got to end you with your alma mater, right? Your alma mater, Coach Isaac Brown, doing a tremendous job right now. I don't know if you have any thoughts. I haven't asked you this ahead of time. I'm putting you on the spot. What is your thoughts on how it's going this year in the midst of some challenging times and how those players are responding? They got a Houston kid, Morris Udeze, Isaac Brown, of course, you know, doing a good job in the interim time. So if you have any thoughts, please share.
Man, I love what Coach IB is doing right now. He's always been a really solid guy. You know, I've been around him for ever since he got the job, so 6-7 years. I go up there every year. He's the best, man. He already was the guy, you know, before he was the guy. You know, he was the guy. You get in town where I be at. You know, you do this with Coach IB, with Coach, you know, I always wanted to be around him. But now he's the head guy. And I went to visit when we actually went up to the Sunrise. I went to visit. He was sitting out in the hallway talking to me, and he was like, "Oh man, I forgot I got to do the scout report for the game," you know, because the new role that he picked up. But they definitely a talented team. I love the kid Ricky Council that's on the team. I think he got star potential. But my boy Mo, you know, I talk to Mo all the time. Mo been balling. He had like 18 a couple games ago, 3 games in a row, about 18 points. We actually had a funny inside joke because he I want to say he went 7 for 7 in a game like 2 weeks ago and scored 18 points. And I'm the person that he was chasing because I went 9 for 9. Right. And I say, hey, look, man. Hey, look, let me have that. You know, find you something else to do, and stay up off of that one. You know. So he was, me and him go back and forth talking all the time, man. I'm happy for those guys. They're winning. Coach IB got them guys really guarding. Yep. They're guarding. I try to catch every game. When they came to Houston, I went to the game, and I'm just happy for him and my guy TJ at Texas State. You know.
Right.
So I hope both of those guys get to keep the job. They're doing a heck of a job. You know, I don't see why would you go anywhere else if you're making decisions on that job when they have the kids' eyes, they have the kids' ears, they have the kids' hearts. You know, you might as well let them stay and keep doing what they're doing. They're winning. You know, and both of those guys are winners. Yep. And you know, I definitely vouch for both of those guys.
No doubt. So to Wichita State fans, Texas State Bobcat fans. There you heard it here first, man. PJ Kuznar, especially for Wichita, you know, for the alumni, for the people that love PJ's letting you know, man. He's letting you know. Yeah, he got to stay, man. IB has to stay. I love it. So we got one last comment. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen for you, and I'll let you just chime into that one. So OTR Exposure TV says, man, ask best mission in the country. So yeah, I don't know who that might be. I don't know who I don't know what that answer could be, but but he wanted me to ask.
Man, that's my guy, Marcus Sloan. Man, I had to give it to him. Man, he's doing a heck of a job trying to put. He called me at 7 o'clock this morning. I hung up on him. I said, "Hey, man, don't call me at 7 o'clock. Get off my phone." He worked me to death, man. He worked me to death. But he's doing a good job. He's trying, man. Like, we have a really good league. You know, we got really good teams in our league, and if he could pull, a few more teams from that make it a little more competitive, I think he's headed down the right direction. I had college coaches already saying, "Man, that's a heck of an idea. That's a great idea that he's doing that great idea." So he's definitely.
So let's dive into that real quick. I know we keep saying we're gonna let you go, but we're having too much fun.
All right.
The P Diddy of grassroots. Shout out to Sloan. We got to give him a shout out. He's been on the show twice. He's family. But he's innovating and he's working to create some new things. So he has created a league that he is the commissioner of for your back conference, correct? Talk about what he is doing, just so people that don't know can get that part filled in before we let you go.
All right, so people, they give him a lot of flack about, they think he just threw something together. No, he actually, we were the league already, a group of teams, about 8 schools already that we all played last year in the league. So basically, he just took over that league, and because all the coaches was kind of deciding on what they were going to do. A lot of them wanted to go independent so they could play the national schedule, because in certain national events, you have to be tied to you either have to be independent or you have to be tied to a certain type of criteria. So a lot of the teams in our league was like, if we're not independent, we can't be tied to this type of criteria, because then we wouldn't be able to play the national schedule. So basically, Sloan took over and got the right criteria and got approved by all the people he needed to be approved by to run the league, and we still could play our national schedules out of that league. So now you're looking at teams that, University Academy got a ton of talent. Spring Creek got a ton of talent. We got a ton of talent. It's a bunch of teams with a ton of talent in it and a lot of nice players in it, and they also play on a national schedule. Right. So now you're looking at, basically, you can either come and play in this league where you're going to play against national players, against national teams in your non-conference, or you can stay in District 13 3A, where you're going to play 3 teams where that's 6 wins because you play them twice.
Right.
In our league, we finished 5th last year with the talent that we had, and it's in the well-coached league. You got good coaches in it, good talent, and I think he's doing a great job of trying to get it together. And, it's hard for guys like us, young black guys, when you put together something, because the first thing people want to do is tear it down. And the saddest thing about it be your own people that's going at you, trying to tear you down. Even I experienced it with Legacy, with Cruz. I got older guys, instead of, they got my number, you know what I'm saying? Instead of reaching out, you back to your Twitter thing, they go back to the, doing that type of stuff. And, it's hard for guys to continue in this game. You got to have thick skin. All right. You got to have thick skin. You have to let things roll off of you. And then you got to understand, guys that's not in your circle, it don't matter what they say. As long as the people around you believe, as long as the people that you're dealing with every day believe in you, that's all you need. You don't, outsiders, they not invested in you. They don't know what you got going on. They don't know your plans. So to him, I would say, keep going, keep pushing. Don't call me at 7 o'clock no more. Other than that,
push on that.
Other than that, keep going, and it'll work out,
Yeah, he says there's 32 Division I prospects in the SWAIC. Talk one last thing about national schedule. You said it multiple times. It probably is commonplace, of course, to a college coach or former college coach. It's commonplace to some people. What does that mean when you say playing a national schedule? What is the significance of that? And when you say that,
the biggest significance is you could load up, and you have to be loaded to play these teams. Like, you go against Sunrise, we got 7 Division I guys.
Excuse me, real quick, Peter. When you say load up, you mean you as a program can load up on talent because they're going to get exposure on a stage that they're playing against other national teams, right?
Exactly.
When you're playing against other national teams, you almost have to have players at every position because of who you're going to be playing against. And correct me if I'm wrong, playing a national schedule, a school can't just start tomorrow, or a coach can't just decide tomorrow they're going to play a national schedule. It's actually something that there's levels to how you go about that, correct?
Oh, definitely. It's a circle in everything. We had to crack the circle. We had to call a friend that called a friend that called a friend,
right,
to get us on in certain events, and everybody can't just pick up the phone and do that. You have to have, even after we called a friend that called a friend that called a friend, they still wanted to see the roster we had, know about the kids that we have and stuff like that. But the good thing about it, once you're there, you're there.
Yep.
Once they accept you in that realm of things, now you're there. So like, we already got calls about next season events, showcases, tournaments, and all that type of stuff, and they don't know my roster yet. But everybody can't do it. You can't, and it's way more organized than people think it is.
Right.
And once you deal with that level of things, you'll never look at high school basketball the same.
Right.
And one of my good friends, Lupe, told me that. He said, PJ, y'all going on that national schedule? He told me that in the summer. He said, man, listen, you'll never want to do regular high school basketball again because it's so different. And we experienced it through the pandemic to where, like, we was in the Kevin Durant series for 3 stops. They canceled it. So we didn't get a chance to go, but that would have been 3 other places that we would have been at, and you just treat it on a whole different level. It's like college, you treat it like college. You travel, you get there, you got food, you got pregame, you got, it's just an experience that definitely, if I'd known about it, when I was coming up, it's definitely something I would have definitely gave it a hard thought. I just love my neighborhood a lot, so, but other than that, it's different, man. It's like, it's levels, and if you want to come out here and you want to be this person, you want a chance to be the number, you literally could go from nothing to something, If you play against the number 3 point guard in this country, the number 4 point guard in the country, Aaron Scott, perfect example. Right. He played number 1 player in the country, the number 1 small forward class 2021 in the country, the number 3 small forward in the country, and now his stock is rising, because he did good in all those games.
Right.
And it also could break you though. If you're not ready and you're out there and you're not ready to do it, it got pros and cons.
Exposure goes both ways. Sometimes people think I need exposure. Sometimes you can get exposed.
Exactly.
Get exposure. And I'm assuming that's the part you love about the national schedule, right? Is the fact that your guys get a chance to not only see that and get prepared for the next level, but also get a chance to see where they stack up. Whether that means you got knocked down and you got to get back up, or that means that you prove that you are actually belong on a level that's higher than what people thought. I'm assuming that's what you love about it the most.
Oh, definitely. That's what I love. I'm a competitor, man. I like to compete. Yeah. And the teams that I had, with the Cruz team, you put us against anybody in any gym, anywhere, we're gonna compete. We're gonna roll the balls out. We're gonna figure it out. And that comes back to the culture that we building, and the culture that we're trying to take with us on these national games. And I think our kids are getting it. The kids that we have now, they're getting it. It was new to them, and so now they understand, okay, I got to go this hard. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do that. And the best way to learn is experience, man. The best, you go through it, it's a whole different understanding that you have for things once you go through it. Everybody know that, and that's in life. That's in any situation. If you go through something, the next time you go through that, you're going to be a little more prepared than you was the first time.
No doubt. If you got a funny story for us, you got to tell us one probably a Cruz mom story or a Cruz mom crew. If you got one, or it could be players, you know what I mean? You got to end us with something funny before you go. If you can think of one. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, dang. I wish I would have known. It's so much.
I didn't prepare you for that one. But it's almost better when you're on the spot anyway, because then you got to come up with something.
Nah, so I want to say the funny story. Oh, let me see. Okay, so we had the reputation of being like the team from the neighborhood, you know.
Yep.
So everybody, Cruz Elite, all they do is fight. All they do is fight. All they do is fight. So we were in Atlanta. And we playing a game. We at Collins Sexton High School. Pebble, whatever. And in the middle of our game, it's literally a shooting outside of the gym. Like, they shooting on the outside, so everybody from the other gym runs through our gym in the middle, runs through our court in the middle of the game, and we don't know what's going on. We like, what the heck is going on? So all the fans are coming in, the people are running in, so we like, all of us, we just get together like, man, what's going on? So one of our guys, like, they were like, man, they shooting. So we were like, man, we need to either get up out of here or what we gonna do with the tournament. So the funny thing about it, my kids and the parents around like, man, tell these people move so we can finish our game. I'm like, all right. I'm hanging with the wrong crew.
I love it.
I'm hanging with the wrong crew, man. So like,
one thing about Cool's culture is you guys have a lot of fun. There's definitely definitely a family vibe. There's definitely a cohesiveness and a togetherness that's like us against the world. And I give you credit because, you know, it's so easy in this AAU culture and this transfer culture to just grab and get a guy and but you've pretty much built it, like you said, with those core guys being and going all the way through. You've added a piece here or there, which we all have to do, but core guys have been a part of it, and they've set the culture to be able to build Cool's culture to what it is. And now people understand from the outside, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And those guys kind of get to police the culture almost like an alumni as they're in college and call back to the dudes like, hey man, that's not how we do things.
And that happens.
I'm sure that does happen because I can see it from far. Obviously, from all my time being a college coach and just now kind of switching this lane, like I know that much. You know what I mean? And I haven't recruited your players. I haven't had the fortunate. I recruited Ruben a little bit, and man, I was right on that. As I told my head coach, he's doing about what I thought he would, and maybe even a little bit better. But I knew he had it in him, and I was a big fan of him then. And but I hadn't had a chance to really super recruit a guy. So, but I knew still, and I'm like, oh, this is the way to go right here because the culture is similar to what the college culture is. So, shout out to what you've done with Cruz Elite too, and that culture and the family that you created, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. They definitely do that a lot. They definitely the guys, the alumni, they always call them the current guys, and especially the summertime is so much fun because they come back. And they be, I mean, the older guys, you know,
they in the gym, they at practice. That's what it's about.
The older guys are funny, man. They funny. PJ Henry, all those guys are they characters, man.
Now, do you play against the guys ever? Do they have to match up against you and see the smoke, or do you save them from that?
So the last time I played, so it was me and Coach Barlow, Eddie Barlow, who coaches my 17U, who played at Sam Houston State. It was me and him in the gym, and DA and Jahari was on the team, and Jacob Young and Shabuti was on the team. It was 2-on-2-on-2. And I want to say that day I retired from basketball. that day I retired from basketball. It was so painful the next morning when I had to wake up. I think me and Coach Barlow probably only won one game. Other than that, we just it's time to pass the torch.
Time to pass the torch. Man, PJ, we had a blast with you, man. Appreciate you coming on. Glad we got to spotlight and highlight some of the stuff you're doing. And I just tell you, man, keep going, man. We need more of it. We need more leadership like that. We need more, guys that are helping instill the championship characteristics and the winning characteristics for not just basketball, but for life, man. So you always got a green light to come on here, man. We're supporting whatever we can do to rock with you too. We're gonna do, man.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. Definitely tell people every Black History Month I shout out all the Black college coaches on my Twitter. So I tell people to retweet that, man. Being a Black college coach is tough, man. Yep. Especially being assistants and not too many of them get the head job opportunities. That's why we need to push hard for IB and TJ, just so they could be in that realm of things and on that level of conversation, because a lot of you guys deserved it. A lot of you guys earned it. And, a lot of you guys should be head coaches, and I think, if we don't start supporting these guys, because it matters, it matters. And you're starting to see it sway a little bit in AAU with the young guys wanting to play for Black coaches, and I think we have to get more Black coaches in a position to where they making, more decisions on these kids from the neighborhoods that we deal with lives.
Yep.
And understanding these kids personally in the culture and the background and the heart where they come from to understand them a little bit better. I think more of our guys got to be in position to coach.
Yeah, you touched on that. We obviously lost two giants here recently, man, and John Chaney and John Thompson. And I'm on the same mission, man. I'm guys called me to do some other things. Obviously, we're doing all access. I'm doing some stuff with Rising Coaches, DEI Alliance. We're doing some things, but my biggest mission is to not only help people, but to help, our people have more opportunities and to get more spotlight, to get more shine. I think even with this show, we'll get off topic for a second, but I don't really care. It's ours. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, for sure.
The whole thing is like, guys like yourselves don't get appreciated too because you're not doing it the certain in the box scholastic way, right? You're doing it in another way. But to me, again, from being a grassroots guy, I started my career in grassroots, and then I went junior college, and then I went Division I, or then I went Division II, then I went Division I. So I've seen all these different levels. I didn't play Division I played Division III and Division II, but the real guys that are in the trenches, whether it's junior college, whether it's grassroots like what you're doing, whether it's high school, and picking guys up, like you said earlier, feeding them, helping them figure out life, man. Because as we know, a lot of our people don't have the same support systems. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. So we got to start supporting us more. And so that's part of what we definitely work to do with All Access is, spotlight on a lot of the unsung heroes, period. But in particular, we strive to make sure we're celebrating our own greatness within our communities, within college basketball, within junior college, within high school, within grassroots, within scouting, period. You know what I mean? Because there's so many guys. And if we don't have a media voice, then people kind of just, we know what it is. I don't even have to say it. You know what I mean? So part of what guys called me to is like, you've connected to all these levels, man. You got to do more. You got to find a way to use what I've given you to help more people. So we're going to continue to help more. So whatever we can do, we're going to use out those coaches. We try to have as many coaches to interview too, because sometimes they think, they don't know how to coach, or they don't know how to interview, they don't know how to talk. No, we know how to do a lot of things. You know what I mean? So we're gonna make sure we celebrate that. And the young people of the next generation that are watching us, they need to see that. They need to see us have success, so they know that okay, this can be done. Obviously, we had a Black president. Obviously, now we have a Black vice president, female. So there's things that we want to continue to break these barriers and just again, it's not a competition against any other race. It's just empowering our own race and empowering our own people. And at the same time, we can acknowledge anybody else who's doing something great, but we just want to make sure we're getting our acknowledgement. You know what I mean? I think the whole social justice, George Floyd, all that stuff, just it hit me in a different way, man. It hit me in a different way that says I gotta do more, and I need to put myself in a position, and God put it on my heart to figure out how to do more. How can I create? How can I really leave a legacy that says when it's all said and done and I lay my head on the pillow, I did everything I could do to advance our people and advance people, period, but advance our people. So I appreciate you saying that because that's definitely our mission. We're on a mission for that. No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, man. I enjoyed it anytime. Hey, listen, when you called me, I was like, what's up? What's up? I don't know if you heard the excitement in my voice. I was like, what's up? I didn't even know what you wanted. I was like, what's up, B? I appreciate that too, man, because, as a guy who's been in college coaching for so long, you never know how that phone call is going to go. I think now that we're doing more of this, people get excited for a different reason. But you've always been real, man. You've always been – we haven't ever had a chance to really take that next level, but there's always been a mutual respect of what you do and how you do it, man. So I appreciate you coming on. We've only had 4 high school coaches on. We had PV, who obviously is one of the greats in our state, and then we had Coach Martinez from Atascocita. That was our first 2. So I got to talking like who should we have on next? And my heart was like, man, we got to get the guys that don't get celebrated. You know what I mean? The guys that may not be on Houston TV show to show the high school to spotlight them the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make sure we're controlling the narrative to be able to, you know, to help uplift what you're doing, man. Because what you're doing is the real work. You're doing the heavy lifting during the pandemic, where families and kids are trying to figure out what direction, what do I need to be doing. They're coming to the guys like you. They're coming to BT. They're going to other high school coaches too. But you guys are so much more than just a high school coach. So, you know, I think it's important to give you guys some love. We got one last comment. Stacey Houston showing some love. He said, man, it's great to see two young brothers chop it up like this. The next generation's in good hands. Stacey, appreciate the support, man. Appreciate everybody who's in. Cool. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep applying. Yes, and we're going to keep doing it together, man. Keep up the great work. And whatever we can do, we're going to do it.
Thank you.
Okay, man.